Hey, what's going on, guys? I am back. Decline. Invites. Prince. Wonder why it does that. And all right. I think we're up.
Okay.
So welcome back. Let's see your videos. I have to go ghetto and look to make sure this shit's actually streaming out. It is. Man, how you doing?
Hey, man, good. Very good.
Bullshit.
I was
Hey, it
on.
was a good run, though. It was a good run.
Yeah, man. I was on my way to work, but man, I just couldn't do it, man. I had the migraine was just killing me all day, so I was like,
Oh, yeah, man.
I can't do it.
No, you're good, bro. I was just bullshitting with Dom and whatnot. Got a lot off the chest earlier.
Right.
Talking about the whole iircade crap. Going through the numbers.
That's wild, man. I can't believe 10,000 was given, but it's actually not even a third. Not even a third.
No.
Damn.
Yeah, they would. Thank you. That 10,000, but you got to understand that that's the same number that they've been given since for 3 years.
Right.
Why hasn't? Wouldn't it be more realistic to keep saying it was 10,000 and then by the end of it you're saying it's like at least 13 by now?
Exactly.
Not
Especially
10,000, 10,000. Like you haven't surpassed 10,000 from the first go. That don't make sense.
Right.
You know?
Especially you have a headquarters out in Korea. Korea has what? We'll approximate it to 3 million people out in Korea.
Mm-hmm.
Go by just 1%. 30,000 people ain't buying an iircade, or you haven't sold that many to people in Korea. Like, what have you been doing in Korea this whole time? Like, it doesn't make sense. You didn't make more cabinets, especially if it's coming from there to here.
Mm-hmm. It does, like you said. I'm baffled. Like, how do you? What could he have been doing this whole time? What? And he's saying he's busy. There's so much planned. Da, 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 da. And then he had the audacity to show off that he's streaming on his phone. Well, no shit. It's Android. That's not anything special. Not giving me a bone.
Right.
You know. And then I don't want to play the fact that if he wasn't or wasn't sick, but he always gets sick when he's in trouble. You know. When during that whole hoppy thing, he came on. I'm sorry, guys, I'm sick. You know, and he did it during hoppy, during his closure. Like, I want to pull, I'm gonna see if I can find it. Pull the hoppy closure video and then his closure video and put them side by side. It was the same garbage, the same garbage. I don't get it. It's just so frustrating, and I know it's got to be more frustrating to other people who actually, cared about it more than me.
Oh,
But
man, yeah.
I just don't understand it. It was so delusional.
And on top of that, man, yeah, like you were saying, like the developers just couldn't understand like what was going on, because when they heard from me first, they're like what? And I'm like, bro, you didn't know? And then they're like, I'm glad you told me. So let's see what we can do for some of them said, let's see what we could do with the company. Some of them just was like, hey, I'm just putting an end to this project or whatever. But
Imagine the time they wasted, money.
yeah.
You know.
And thankfully there's some people that like are on the verge, like last minute, trying to get whatever unfinished projects out to the community, and the community deserves that. Like, like, damn, like we've been talking about, like, from 2021, like, oh man, you guys, I can't believe what developer I talked to, and like they're on their way to iRcade, they're still developing this game or developing that, like Galaxy Taxi, um Ninjitsu Squad. And then, like, when I did my rant video the other day on my own page,
Mhm.
I was surprised because when I talked to Jong about Ninjitsu Squad, he was like, "Yeah, send me the developers' information," because they were definitely interested. Now, sadly, Jitsu Squad is now directly under the licensing of I think it's Exa Arcadia. And so, like, when I told him, I said, "Hey man," like, because I had joined their Kickstarter to get the game. And I was wondering, and that's when I was going off my spiel. I was like, I'm never ever going to deal with Kickstarters again, because it had been months, and they said, "Hey, we sent your package out. My
Mhm.
package got lost, or it got lost in the sauce, or they went through a third party to send out my package, and
Mhm.
I still didn't get it." I contacted them, and then at the end, when they said, "We'll personally send it to you," I said, "Oh, so I just wanted to ask you something. How's the development, or what's going on with iRcade? Because we talked a long time ago." And then they asked me, like, um, who's iRcade? And I'm like, what, man? I gave y'all that information. Like, I gave them the information. They should have talked to you all. And man, iRcade missed out, and the community missed out on an incredible beat 'em up game. Like, you got to check that shit out, man. Like, it's marvelous.
Man, I'm gonna figure this whole thing out and start pulling up this stuff. So I got to figure out how to be smart about it, I guess, so I don't get flagged and crap like that.
Oh,
But
right.
but man, just hearing that, it's so disappointing. And then, you know, um, I know you never asked for it, but it just wilds me that you never been really giving your flowers over this stuff. And then I was so frustrated. I remember when I called you up about it,
Hmm.
when I first spoke to you before. It was the first time speaking to you, and to not hear you get credit for everything you've been doing, and then gave credit to somebody who never, you know, put two cents in. It was weird because it'd be like me if I go, oh, I want Street Fighter 2, and then somehow maybe, a year or two later they get Street Fighter 2. This person will take the credit and go, I said I wanted Street Fighter 2, and they listened, and you see I'm the one who brought it because I'm the one who brought it up. I'm like, what? Like, that's not how any of this works.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the guy who was doing the email chains between the developer and the company. Maybe that's who they, got it.
Right. And the thing about it, man, it was like, I left that part alone. Like, I wasn't gonna entertain it or get into the already drama that was filling up into the academy, into the community, because it was spilling over into both Arcade One Up and iArcade. But like, I just left it alone. But then, like, I just came to my breaking point, because once I because remember the situation when I had posted up some key codes from the developers, the indie developers. I sent them out to the community and said, "Hey, like, look, these are developers that are interested coming to the iArcade, but these are key codes that they want you guys to try out. Answer these questions, and you'll get them." And so the guy, Cuddles, he says, like, "Oh man, this is what I'm talking about. You know, they don't get they don't get good quality games," or whatever he said. And I'm like, dude, I never said this was coming to the iArcade. I only said these developers are interested in. And if you want to go that further, I got receipts, and I could post them, that like whatever you're trying to claim is not true. And I got tired of it. And then, of course, that's where the situation when Rainwater got involved, trying to be the mediator. But it only seems like, and I hate to make this a racial thing, but it only seems like when it's a certain type of people that is not a part of the clique or the fraternity or whatever it is, they got time to say something to people. So when he said something to me, I was in shock. I'm like, bro. I'm like, man, you N words better leave me out of this
I
drama.
remember that. Yeah, and the sad thing, it's just factual. It ended up happening to be those are the circumstances. Whether it was part of it or not, I don't know. But it's always like you said. I'm just gonna be the one who says it.
Hmm.
It's always when the people of color say something, other folks jump on the hardest. And I'm gonna give you just a straight up factoid. John's been fucking with this guy named JoJo for like 2 years in y'all's group.
Hmm.
JoJo's black.
Right.
And John would just have these cordial conversations. Like JoJo would go hard
Hmm.
and say all kinds of shit off the cuff, but he's doing factual information. And John would have these long narratives, giving him an explanation, stuff like that. But to the same person that would write in the fucking group as himself, boom, attack. Call them racial terms, and he would just leave it up there. Leave it up there.
Hmm.
And I remember I got so pissed, I made a burner account, got on the page. It was like 5, 7 days later, reported what they said. And when they reported it, it flagged it to Facebook, and Facebook removed it due to uh, policy violation for racism.
Hmm.
But he would sit there and he, like an idiot, conversate with this burner account. So the writing was like it was there. The evidence to me was there. It's kind of like when you'll see the black couples, they would have to go through their white friends to sell their house, and then they get like 500,000 more on it.
Mm.
Just blatancy. Like this is not how you were acting before, and you've been a shining star in the community. No one could ever say you hated the iircade or anything like that. And it's just weird how they can just turn on you. And then their jealousy would come out because they see you're getting stuff done. And Cuddles games and suggestions were so fucking horrible. I remember even Brooklyn Menace on the show goes, there's got to be a time when we say enough is enough, man. I don't even know if I want to show this anymore because this is pretty bad. This is pretty bad stuff.
Yeah,
Because he
I
was
think
just suggesting anything. I remember he sold off some crappy game and he was like, "It's better than Mortal Kombat." And I was just like, "Oh Jesus!"
yeah that.
I
Oh
was
man,
done,
dude,
man.
when I was on the show, like I didn't want to say anything because my being is that whatever the community wants to get, it doesn't matter who it is.
Right.
I'll go vouch for them and be like, hey, like even if it's a piece of crap game, I'll be like, hey, this is what some people in the community want, and are you interested? And it's up to the developer. But like when I saw that and he made the reference to it, like I dude, I was trying to be very, very polite. I didn't say anything. I just kept my mouth quiet, and I'm like,
But it was funny because I was being attacked for the indie games when I was first in the group. I
mhm,
suggested yeah, it's kind of like Frogger, and it's like in Dave and Buster's, and it was it's on your the phones with a little bird, and you would jump across the platforms. Got to go up isometric up to the endpoint. But either way, I was like, you know what? It's fun. This would be pretty cool for like party situations and stuff like that for the house. So
right,
I remember putting it in, and people they attacked me and go, well, I thought the whole, people, I thought the whole point of the arcade was, these type of games and not this, whatever. And then 2 seconds later, someone else would do the same suggestion, and those very people who came at me would go, "That's great. Let me lick your butthole some more." Like, what the fuck?
dude,
And
that
I
is so
have, and you
crazy.
know me, guys, I have the fucking receipts. I took pictures. One of the biggest jackasses that was doing it, and I'm gonna drop his name, Michael DeSalvo or whatever. He was one of the biggest jerks in that group to me about that kind of stuff. And all you would see in the that community group was positive shit from me, positive. But he wouldn't let you be positive. He would not let you be positive. He will tell you the game you would like will never come. He would any game you would suggest, because I remember I got banned when you were actually on the thing. I had put out a thing and going, I would never say this game was bad.
Right.
And then you went, hey, this developer's already been contacted.
Right.
And then Rainwater's bitch ass jumps on and goes, that's a good looking game, but I don't appreciate the jab. And I wrote unhinged, out of control, and I'm emailing John. Boom, he blocks me. Who the fuck? You don't work for the fucking company, jackass. And I just said nothing wrong. You attacked me.
Right.
Again. And I'm going to tell John what you're doing because you're an out of control moderator, you know? And that's the kind of bullshit. And then these fuckers wondering why, people talk crap and get angry and upset because you ruin someone's livelihood because they bought a product, and then you got someone who doesn't even work for the company or represent the company having a power control because he doesn't like, people that look like me telling him go fuck himself, without saying it.
Yeah, and this goes to say this is the point in time where John should have took back his company and kept it business instead of because like most of the opinions from these guys, and I have no problem with to a degree with some of them, but like these are the guys that are ruining your fucking your company, bro. Like people that tell you like, and you're sheep herding people to believe all of this nonsense. Like, it's your opinion. Combat Tribes is not better than Double Dragon in no universe. No
fucking universe
is that game in any sense better than Double Dragon.
That's
Dragon
ridiculous.
is a legacy game.
How do you Double Dragon Combat Tribes? Like I said, when you have the two of these, you went and played Double Dragon. But then when Double Dragon was taken up, or if you only had one of these left, you had to go look around the arcade because everything was costing 50 cents, and you go, oh, there's Combat Tribes. Let me go and play that. When it came out, it was fun for a bit, stuff like that. But it was the beast. It was like a Primal Rage, and then here comes Virtual Fighter 2. Like, what you gonna play? Come on,
Exactly.
Like Primal Rage is done and over. Like no, it's not better. But good for what it is. Yeah, but to sit there, but that his argument, the reason why I bring that up is because that shit irked me because the only reason why it was Papa Brad, he brought that argument up because they lost the license to Double Dragons.
Yeah.
And then he tried to gaslight the community and go, well, I don't need it. We have Combat Tribes. That's the dumbest, most ignorant comment. And it's like, what do you add? What are you adding to the community by spewing what you know to be a lie to push an agenda for yourself? Like, what are you adding? Like, how is this doing any favors to anybody? How is this doing a favor to John or anything? But going back to that real quick, I have it on good word that many of the people in the company implored John to make Rainwater get him fired. And he would scream, I know how to run my company, and would refuse. And then the N word was he was fired and removed from his position. And I believe the key player in that was Michael Swaback. Finally said enough, and he fired him. But he would tell everybody that he stepped down when clearly he was fired. Of course, he's not going to sit there and say I was fired. He was fired because Michael Swaback had enough of him, and he fired him.
Man, yeah. I don't know what that firing did because like
nothing.
Because
they still listen to this guy.
I'm sorry, guys, but like the damage was done, man. Like look, guys, Brad, Rainwater, you guys, the value of Arc System Works minus Double Dragon was crazy lucrative for the iircade. Like I said before, games like Guilty Gear is our Arc System Works game. So you guys saying that importance of no Double Dragon or the Arc Systems is irrelevant compared to you guys talking about the Combat Tribes, that's foolishness. Like,
for me, it was the downfall of the company when he was, he definitely must have, I think he got in trouble with the developers, you know, because I emailed the developer when I started figuring that, wait a minute, are you're selling, it's supposed to be a preloaded game,
Right.
but he's making it as he's allowed to keep, you could tell he was trying to offload.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, but what you have, are you even legally allowed to offload it on it? And he would go, and so his comments would be, well, these cabinets were already pre-developed and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Okay, fine. But how do you prove that?
Yeah.
You have to have a code. It's got to either be on the system. You got to give numbers. So when they started finding out that, wait a minute, technically this guy indefinitely could give away a game that he has no rights to indefinitely forever, that's illegal.
Yeah.
And I believe they investigated. And when they investigated, you saw stuff just starting to get, plugs were being pulled, man, quick. And from what I understand about that company is they didn't play. They were hitting me back on emails. They did not play. They didn't hit. Yeah, it was bad, dude. It was bad. And from my understanding, it hit the right ears, and they acted, and they didn't appreciate what they were trying to do with this licensing. And don't blame me. That's criminal. You can't do that. You can't steal. You go to jail for that stuff.
Right.
Who
But
knows?
it's a coinkydink how the process happened. It was a simple thread on Facebook where it started with the new Double Dragon Gaiden that was set to release for September of 2023, but now it's July. And then from there, that's when the cats in the community was like, oh well, we can't find Double Dragon in the iarcade store. And then it made me feel like I was getting shit or getting attacked for the whole synopsis of the whole Double Dragon thing. Like, I'm just worried about the new games, about Double Dragon Gaiden, but I don't know, man. But like it all fell apart and like to where this whole ending of the bankruptcy, they were never gonna get Double Dragon back. They were never in the process of looking to reestablish the license.
How do you
No
get
way.
it back with no cabinets sold? There was
Exactly.
nothing. There's no base. There's nothing to move on. There's no growth. The company's growth stopped a year ago. It
Yeah.
stopped. It was in, you know,
And
the
and there was not one or two people that won those cabinets off of Price is Right that entered into the community, at least to show those numbers.
yeah, there, because here's a holiday. The it's called the Black Friday Super Special iRcade Classic Holiday. They garnered, man, around 400 cabinets for that.
You hear that, people? Listen up. Listen to this information. Say that, man.
For the super special iRcade Classic Black Friday sale, 400 cabinets. That's
Like
it.
CM Punk said on this past weekend, tell Isaiah when he's lying.
Yeah. Like, that's it. And then that's not even counting for so a gross sale of about, I'm rounding, 13,000, and then net sale of total like 12,500, to include taxes. So they got like, out of that, maybe like, man, 20 some cabs returned or some shit. Like, because or even more than that, because it was like the 299 sale. So Jesus, yeah, it's bad. These numbers are abysmal. And then if you're a game developer, you're gonna say like, why would I want to waste my energy and make a
Exactly.
game that's not going to sell because there's nobody to buy it. And
Yeah.
then you got to think the most, let's say if 100 people willing to want your game, and never in your life 100 people or 100% are willing to buy all that. It's just not how it works.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why Cuphead is not on the iRcade. They said no, no way. And
What
well,
was that game that looked like Cuphead on that Thunderbolt? What was
yeah.
that?
So that game was called Galaxy Taxi. It kind of had like shade imaging, like adults, like the Adult Swim type of animation,
Yeah.
but it's very close to Cuphead. That was called Galaxy Taxi.
Wow.
And that, if man, dude, when I talk to man, I
Because
don't
he
understand.
advertised that was supposed to come out too, but of course it never was. It was just lies.
Dude, we were supposed to get. I don't want to mix up the name because Silent Bob, Silent J, Silent Bob, whoever J Muse is, we're
That
on verge of getting that game, but
that's
they
actually true because I spoke to a person that was affiliated with that. I think on like Polycade or something like that. And
Mhm.
that yeah, that was the J Silent Bob guys were supposed to be involved with bringing something. But when that person is being screwed over by John and telling his own people, bad stuff, these type of things don't come out. It's, you guys got to look at, look at stuff and go, well, we all know that it's out there because was it B Kong's encoder put it out there about the metal slug. I don't speak for this other person, but you got to ask yourself, if he was here, I would ask him, and it's up to him to answer or not. But why wasn't it ever released?
Mm.
You think it's because um uh the system won't ready? Because clearly it was. Or do you think it was because the community's full of jackasses and they may have felt that the community didn't deserve it? Who knows? Like these are the kind of stuff you guys got to ask yourself, because when these developers work hard and the gaming community, all they want is to take, and it's really toxic, and they don't want to deal with that shit. Yeah, you
Right.
got to look at the Polycade folks. There's probably a reason they don't sell cheap machines. Who wants trailer trash owning their shit? I know I don't. So Polycade ain't for me. I won't be able to afford it yet. You know what I mean? But there's a reason why Teslas and BMWs cost so much, because they only want a group of certain class of people to own these things.
Yeah.
And I mean, look at the arcade one up. People get mad because they're selling it for 700, 800, as they should.
Hmm.
And then they don't give a damn until it's down to like $100, $50, after the fact,
Yeah.
after everybody's got theirs. That's like getting it, like I did when I was a kid, and getting the Nintendo like at like 89, and the next year, Super Nintendo's coming out,
Yeah.
like, and then I'm sitting here shitting on the Nintendo the whole time because I can't afford it, like that's how these guys act.
Mm. Man,
But,
it's just, I don't know, man. That I had. If you look at my Twitter right now, it's over close to 6,000. 5,000 Twitters. Not for me per se to talk about myself, but all
mm-hmm.
centered around iArcade and talking to lobbying to these developers. And you mean out of the 5,700 tweets, you probably get shit. How many games did I? Probably close to 20 of the games on iArcade. You probably see that I was able to get onto the iArcade. Probably a little less than that, probably 15 to 20.
That's
But
crazy. That's a
five
lot. You should have been
5,700
paid, man. I
tweets.
mean, this guy should have been paid. But then I'm not understanding the other tubers who attack you.
Hmm.
You know, how do people who just bought this machine don't go? They're the ones who are destroying the brand. They're literally attacking the only guy that's getting us these games. That makes no sense. People should be up in arms. It doesn't make sense to me. No matter what I thought about Jong or whatever, these are just facts. Like You helped bring games to the iircade.
Yeah,
These are just facts.
it's
You have the
very
receipts.
it's very baffling. It's very backwards that somebody can not leave footnotes or give credit to who they plagiarized off of and make that a review
Yeah.
and then get caught and then to buy subscribers. Yet I'm the one, I'm the one that gets people have the time for, you know. And like I told John, I said, bro, like you got to put a stop to this, man. You got to put a stop to this nonsense, man. It makes the company look bad, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It makes the company look bad. And like he said, I hear what you're saying, and we're taking it in consideration. We're listening.
Consideration.
I mean, that's not
I
the
mean,
word
but how many
verbatim,
other
but
people have to tell him? You told him. His employees told him.
We told him.
You guys told them, because when I say employees, I'm not even talking about these employees. I'm talking about other employees,
Yep.
and we're talking like 10, 11 people who are closely affiliated and associated, receiving a paycheck from iircade, telling these people these other folks are bad news, but then somehow everyone I'm speaking to that are on friendly terms to me, I'm the issue or the problem. It's weird. It's interesting.
John said let him run his own company. But we
Yeah.
already said that he was jealous of Prince Malcolm, Michael S. So he did everything to block any success that Prince could have possibly have gotten
Yeah.
because out of ego. And that's what it was. Ego. Personal ego.
man.
Here we go. Here's the man of the hour, Cuddles. Well, we appreciate you coming to terms and bringing that up because you were brought up before.
Yep.
Um, I will acknowledge that you are that you've spoken on it, that you did give credit where credit was due. I will acknowledge that. But once again, this is therapy hour,
Yep.
and
Yeah. All
when
it.
everything happened at the time, a lot of people were hurt.
I
You
know I
felt that you
was. So
took
I was
credit
one of the
for
ones.
his work.
I know I was one of the ones, Cuddle. My bad if I pressed the line too hard, but I felt some kind of way about it because I know what Prince Malcolm do that he don't speak on. And for somebody to go up there with that saying that they did this and that, and for Jong to blatantly know that Prince did that, and then he gets up there grandstanding, oh, shouts out to Cuddles, you will respond. I got pissed off, so my bad, but I had
And
to, take up and speak on it.
on that note, once again, we gotta also take in consider Cuddles. He's a fan.
Mhm.
He's thinking simply, well, thank you, John. Not understanding the work Malcolm put in. He put Malcolm and Cuddles and he pitted them against each other ethically when that was never the case. And maybe he just came to the realization going, oh, shit, I see that Malcolm did this work. Thank you, Malcolm. But that wasn't what John did. And this is
Bingo.
where people need to come out. I can't tell him what to think, but I would hope that Cuddles goes, damn, that was fucked up, John. Why would you do that to Malcolm? And when I necessarily did not deserve the credit, this man deserved the credit. But that wasn't it. His friends from the other show was propping him up, giving him all the credit, knowing damn well that wasn't the case. You know,
And the thing is, right? And I sent a message to Brad about Saturn Deluxe because what was one of the issues why Saturn Deluxe wasn't brought to the iarcade, I shared with him, is that because they were trying to build for the iarcade primarily a leaderboard, but the developer for Saturn Deluxe, he had no idea how to do it. And so I said, well, hey, I could get you information to Bash to help you or whatever and stuff like that. So Brad knows. Brad news know that. And I think I shared it with somebody else and everybody agreed, well, hey, look, we don't need the leaderboards, just bring Saturn Deluxe to the iarcade. Work on that later. So Brad already he knew. He knew what the deal was.
I'm gonna say for you, console. My opinion is no. I think it helped the iircade. You were a satire show. I think you brought even if your intent was to be negative with it, I thought it brought them positive views in return because of your comedy. So no, I don't think it was the downfall. If anything, it brought more light to them, and they were more interested at looking at it because it was supposed to be comedy.
Yeah. And I'll add to that to Console Fanboy. I even talked on my way to or in Chicago for Game and Brew Night. I told Jong about Console Fanboy, and I said, don't look at it as a negative. Look at it as a positive because you're getting more eyes to stare down onto iircade. So no matter what Zohar says, you still have people saying, "What is he talking about? What
Your
is
goal was supposed to
iircade?"
joke like, oh, ha ha ha, console. Like
Right.
for me, you were harmless, console. You were completely harmless. You might have had real beef with Brad, but
yeah, Brad. I see that.
But that was it. But I remember I laid into your ass about Brad like constant, constant. And that's what pisses me off about those other folks is that they don't, I'm sure Brooklyn never mentioned because he was in the group. He's seen me go off on Console Fanboy. And because, I didn't care. I'm just, giving out my opinion because once again, I thought it was unfair.
Yep.
I thought, that it was like a grown man kicking an overweight kid in the park. Like, man, these guys are on a whole different level. Console fan, like no one can touch Console Fanboy's editing and stuff like that. You're not gonna win a SNL battle against this guy. I'm not gonna come out there. No, I gotta kick Console Fanboy in the nuts. I gotta go real. I gotta go hard. I gotta take off my hat, show my bald spot, and go, "You're a piece of shit," and be real about it. Because I can't beat him on satire. It's not going to happen. I can't.
Well, your boy Brad tried to do. He tries to emulate. Cuddles is in here, right?
Yeah, he was in here.
All right, Cuddles. I'm gonna keep it real. I was on the Friday night show with you and Brad and all those people. That dude did not wear no yellow glasses until you started doing it. That dude copies.
You gotta be upset about that.
Dude, he started wearing yellow glasses when Cuddles, his persona was the yellow glasses, the Miami shirts. I mean,
the complete rip-off
shirt. Yeah. And so he copied everything that Cuddles did. Now he's doing these walking talks that PD7 does.
That's
he tries
PD7.
to do the satire that Console Fanboy does. He's a plagiarizer and is across the whole board.
Yeah, that was Cuddles had this whole Miami Vice thing going about him. He had the hair coming out and the bright colors,
right.
And I was like, what the fuck is this guy sticks? But as he went on, I was liking him, man. I was like, he's got something, he's got the cologne stuff and he's 58, I'm like, all right, and then he started, even though I did not care for a lot of the games and stuff like that, it was still stuff that I was not aware of. And I still like indie games. But I remember there was a string with Cuddles and he was on the show and he was trying to do the right thing. I could tell. And they were going off about about Zohar. Cuddles is like, look, I'm neutral. I'm neutral. Like, let's just talk about, the games. I'm paraphrasing, guys. And Brooklyn, and this is where I knew there was an issue. Because it goes with his name, Menace. Like Dennis the Menace. And he goes, well, Cuddles goes, I'm trying to get off the topic. And Brooklyn looks in the camera and is like, well, I'm trying to stay on it. And I'm like, thinking to myself, I thought you said you was not about drama.
That dude a liar, man.
And he's on that shit.
He's on it.
And I could see Cuddles getting mad, getting up, trying to distract, come back. And then eventually he's like, I swore I heard him say, and correct me in the post, Cuddles, if you're here, I'm getting pissed off. And he cuts the feed.
Yep.
And I ain't seen him since.
Yep. And to your point, Mensa, Brooklyn did that same thing at Game and Brew. Remember when we had the private conversation video? He looks in the camera like this. And knowing what he's doing.
Oh, yeah, when he flipped the camera, like, oh, I'm just filming.
This is
private conversation. Men don't film other men having private conversations to put it on the internet. And they try to use it as a negative. We
But
turned
it
that into a
backfired.
positive because it came out with the truth about what all the other what the mainstream YouTubers in this community thought about the person who's been nothing but obstructing this whole single time. But what killed me when he the reason I'm making this a big deal is that when Brad sat there and he picked on UAG, was it Big Dad Gaming or something like that, right?
Mad Dad.
And Mad Dad Gaming and OTG, because they would go the whole sports theme thing. They got the hats and the sunglasses and stuff like that, which is their business. Because I could tell I probably need to start wearing some yellow glasses or something like that. These screens are freaking bright, man.
Yeah,
Like you're staring at them the whole time, and then
Bro.
also the whole time you're looking in my eyes and I'm glancing over here, glancing over there, twitching or whatever. Like, who wants people to see that shit? So you wear sunglasses, you wear hats to cover your fucking bald spots and shit like that. Like, this is stuff. These are aesthetics, and he's sitting there picking on them, and go, man, who wears sunglasses? And then you wonder, these grown ass men, and you wonder if they ever see your ass, they won't confront you and go, "What the fuck, bro?"
Brooklyn, the
But then you're
oldest,
gonna sit
though,
there and
Benson.
clip it and go, "He's a threat." No, you're a bitch.
Brooklyn, the oldest, Mensa. That's the problem. Brooklyn is older than all of us. That dude is 50
Like,
something,
he's probably
bro.
older than Cuddles. Like, he's an old
He's 50
dude. Like,
something,
yeah,
or at
man,
least 50.
Man, let me tell you something. When I was like 7, Brooklyn was already freaking like 30. Like, and I'm not that young. I got a kid. Like, Brooklyn's old, dude.
So here's the other thing too, fellas. And Prince, you were there.
Yo.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. If you were this big of a fan, this is what people not questioning. If you're this big of a fan of iircade, the 3 violators never been to the lair one time.
That's what I've been trying to tell people.
Doesn't make sense.
They never been to. I've been to 2 gaming brews.
And why? Why wouldn't they come? Were they not invited?
They were invited.
They were invited.
I've been to 2 gaming brews, y'all. Prince
So
was at the other one.
Like, I know they could. They go to those other shows, so why didn't they want to come out? My opinion is they knew they were unpopular. They know what they did, because during that video, just like now, everyone was venting about the same problem. Children.
So how can they say that, Brent? Look, this is the thing. Brad and all those cats. How can Brad and Brooklyn, Knicks, whomever else, say that King Creole did not support iircade? I've been to 2 gaming brews. I've been to the lair.
You worked for iircade. You were an employee. You were tasked to do a job for iircade.
Facts. I was called to do a job.
That's jealousy.
Those on the Discord,
I don't support them dudes.
Yeah.
Hold on, please. Those that are in the Discord on iircade community, pay attention. Like, these guys aren't angry men. Nobody is. Everybody that you see on this camera right now loved iircade for what it was.
Yes.
Until all of the BS started happening.
I mean, I'm gonna get free demos. Like, I don't give a fuck how bad this shit is. I'm gonna get mine. But somebody didn't want me to get these games. They didn't want me to have a platform. Think about it, and then look at the people that are on the camera, and go, well, why doesn't they look like the rest? Think about this. You look in this. I'm just gonna talk on this shit. Fuck it.
Speak on it. We here.
Therapy. Why is it the community so divided? You have the only mixture of demographics you see in this whole community would be like what? You got super gamer dudes.
Yeah.
What's
super
that guy's
gamer
name?
Dude and Tech Buzz.
What's his name?
Game Buzz.
Person of color on the show.
Oh, Carl.
Oh, Carl. Yeah. Detroit Love.
Detroit Love. Yeah, his handle. Detroit Love. You got him. Cool. And
Nostalgia.
And then what's the other show?
Then you got Game Time with
Nostalgia, yes.
Tech Buzz.
Then Game Time, and then you got that. Like, he's got a whole crazy cast.
He's got a nice coalition.
Right. And then and Moat goes everywhere, so whoever Moat, vouches, thumbs up. But then you got Weekly Retro Party. Mm-hmm. He brings on like 5, 7, 8 guys at a time, depending on the show.
Right.
And then you got, you know, what's going on here. But then look at who's arguing with each other.
Yeah.
And then look who was causing the arguments.
Yep.
And then finally, when I'm getting together with these other tubers and they're finally talking to me, Michael B, thank you. P-Dubs reaching out, you know, making peace, thank you. And they go, wait a minute. Maybe this other guy ain't so bad. I've been listening to this other piece of shit this whole fucking time, causing a fucking divide. And it goes back all the way 2 fucking years ago or this year from fucking Rainwater, you know?
The main culprit.
And then, you know, fucking Brad going after sea lions.
Oh, they swept that under the rug.
Tagging you know, according to another comment, tagging a well-known white supremacist, you know, to get brownie points, you know, hanging this little, you know, hot dog and stuff. And I think he thought this was going to go somewhere. He thought it was going to go somewhere. And he didn't understand, man. Times have changed, man. No one cares for that shit. And then you went after, and then on top of that, you went after a veteran.
Yep.
Like you're dumb. You're dumb as fuck. Because prior to that, you were defending sea lions for wearing sunglasses. Because I remember when you were picking on the WRP folks for wearing it, people go, well, She Lion wears it and she's on your show. Well, she can because she's a Marine vet and she's got an eye condition and da-da-da-da. So he went crazy defending. And I remember I was like, that's bullshit, because, and not the fact that she has to wear it because it's her right. I'm talking about the fact that he's defending it because it's still hypocrisy, right? And like, how do you not know about others? They don't have to sit there and come out with their fucking HIPAA information, you jackass, you know? But then now, because she's not in line with iircade and sold it, she's the bad guy, and you oust her, you know, which none of your business. You know, you had a crush and you was mad and you feel a certain way, and it's okay, man. She's pretty, you know. That don't mean you're gay or whatever.
Right.
Like Denzel Washington is a good looking dude. He's handsome. You know, I don't want to fucking marry the guy. You know, like he looks better than me. Like I, you know, come on. Like, it's okay, guys. It's okay. You know, everything will be okay. But, you know, you clearly had something going on and you was wrong. And then you did this chat GPT, you know,
bro, what
apology, dude. We're all grown men. Does anything sound cohesive in that bullshit?
No, it was chat GPT.
Like, it was a complete AI, man.
We all know Brad, and that don't sound like Brad.
Like, I would rather had the Brad stupid verbiage with misspellings and all that other crap.
Y'all saw Rainwater shit. That dude can't spell to save his life.
Yeah, you know. Well, yeah, like when Jong would when he started writing his long rants, I'm like, that's not Jong, that's fucking Rainwater type and all that bullshit, you know. Holy cow, guys. What's this when a fucking Jong say holy cow and all that shit? You know, it's the same ESL crap. He's got English as a second language, even though he's been here for a while, and we all know his mannerisms, you know, and how he talks. You can hear his voice when he types.
Exactly.
And you can't sit here and tell me those long rants about me that were him.
That wasn't him. That dude
wasn't him.
Now,
he may be a mad dude. He may be bad as fuck at me, but I would know it's him. That's not how he types. Something was up with that.
Yeah, man. I tried. I think you guys saw in the live stream. I tried to get Jung just to try to squash everything with you guys. Like, you know, like, hey man, make peace.
I would have been cool with it. Like, just talk to me. I've reached out to the man a couple of times, man, because I remember I was like, hey man, I heard you saying something about somebody threatening you. Is that me? He's like, no, my friend. Yeah. You know, if you look at my chats with Jong, you would think we was best friends.
Right.
Where I got pissy and started going off on the cat is because he kept on letting Rainwater run gambit on me. And I'm like, well, if this is what they're gonna do, I'm gonna fucking talk shit on the guy. That's how I felt.
Prince was there when Jong told me to my face Hey, I don't want you associating with Bill. Am I lying, Prince?
No.
Standing outside the restaurant, what he pull me aside and say?
Yep.
He like me associating with Bill. Basically wanted me and Gunther to cut
The head
ties with
indie
Madden.
developer for iircade, he doesn't want his own employees talking to him. That's shady as fuck, man.
It's so crazy because when I
Mhm.
landed there, that's when I learned about all of this craziness. I'm like, bro, I'm just getting here. Like this is a nightmare. Like I went in the
I
golden ticket, I thought it was like a dream come true and stuff. Everything was kosher, and then we're like, yo, there's a lot of bullshit. Man,
I
people,
thought you were part of the clique. Man, I put out videos on your ass. I was just like, this motherfucker. Like, people were mad at you, man. But then, like I said, then after I realized that you got screwed the way you did, I was like, oh man, this guy don't have a clue.
Yeah.
Let me talk to him.
Yeah, I definitely I did not have a clue.
It was guilty by association, and that's what occurred. But
But
it's not your
got
fault.
on us too, so we was guilty.
Them boys
by
came in
association.
hard, liver lips. I was like, oh man.
But you see how we could come from that, and these guys, bro,
They will never grow past it. Never.
And they
Never.
old too, though. That's the funny part. Them dudes are old, bro.
Yeah.
Them dudes is old. But never been to a game. Super fans. How you be a super fan? I keep thinking about that. How the hell you a super fan? You missed 3 gaming brews. They had 3 gaming brews, y'all. People in the chat. There were 3 gaming brews. There was the first one with Prentice, Roy was there, P-Dubs was there. There was the first one before the Cavs even hit home. Then there was one in Los Angeles that me, B-Con, Mark Okunyansky, Bobby Vu, we was at the LA one. Then there was the last one so there was 3 gaming brews. You missed every last one of them. But you told me, man, so Rainwater told me he was there from the beginning. That's why John got love for him. He said, I was there before anybody.
I think Rainwater got mad when I put a brag post on there, and I said I put out the time I was in the group with the timestamp, and I said, hey guys, here's a flex. This is when I joined. How about everybody else put their screenshots up and tell me, what your favorite game for iircade is, and when you joined. Right. And I was in there well before Rainwater ever existed, and yeah, like, dude, who are you and how did you get here? Like, I've never heard of you or seen you, and I've been here. I was in the group where like 100 people were thinking it was a fake company because they weren't coming out with any fucking information, Yeah. I forgot the term, but I was like, damn, this shit ain't ever coming out. And then the Kickstarter came out and I was watching it, and I didn't jump on board right away because I wanted to fish it out. And everybody knows me enough now that I think I like to consider myself doing the research.
Yeah.
I fell for it because they sat there and told us all kinds of promissaries. You can just assume based upon what they were showing us and telling us. And then when I started realizing, and I put it's still in the group.
Yeah.
I called it an Ouya. Even Brad laughed and commented, I love my Ouya. I was like, I love my Ouya too. But y'all need to sit here and acknowledge this is a fucking Ouya. This company is a Ouya. They're never going to have anything
Ouya
because it was always a bullshit prompt. Just be patient, my friends. Just 1 year, be patient. 2 years, be patient. 3 years, be patient. Like, what the fuck?
And then Jukebox is still in beta, Mensa.
And then they go, well, we have 300 quality games. And it's like, no, you don't. And then the games that they do have that were actually worth a damn, they didn't even hype. What was that? I forgot the name, but there's this one where, it's a black girl and she.
Oh, Dundara.
Yeah. Like, no, whoever reviewed that? Who? For me, that's one of the tops. And yeah, I'm being biased, but it is a great game to me.
That's
and I'm like, why didn't no one review that? Or what do you call it? From Another World. Where was it?
Another World.
Yeah. Like, I don't give a fuck who you are. That's a
classic.
That's a classic. Like, man, if they got Flashpoint, I would have been all over that one. But either way, where was the hype around that game? That's like one of the ones that they should be hyping. Like, guys, we have a classic on our hands. Like, this is like Prince of Persia worthy type of shit to me. Like
instead,
like that they didn't hype it. They just dropped it and left it at that.
just left it at that. And Mike said every time Prince or somebody would post a game, this is what was funny to me. Every time Prince or somebody would post a game, excuse me, y'all, I'm doing some yard work. But every time he would post a game, Michael's S will say, "Oh, Prince, I was already looking at that." How you looking, dude? There's no way.
Every fucking game that he dropping, they already looking at this shit.
Prince laughing. Prince, no, I'm telling the truth. How you looking at every game?
Y'all want to know how much they sold for some accessories?
Let's see.
What we got? With how about the unisex jogger?
Oh, you talking about merch?
Yeah, merch.
Yeah, let's hit the merch number.
2.
Oh my god.
Any questions in the chat? I got it all here. I'm looking. Oh, the iircade 64 gigabyte, just the bar top, 44. I mean, this is selling like hotcakes.
That's including Kickstarter.
I could do.
Yeah, because I'm one of
the. Let me type in Kickstarter.
Bar top. I never got the base. I had the bar top.
Let's see. If I type in Kickstarter, that doesn't come to play. No,
that can't
but it's what else we got? I could do pre-order.
Yeah, do pre-order.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so a lot of pre-orders pop up. Let's see here. The tempered glass screen pre-order was 45, but oh no, the pre-order what the fuck? There's a 1/8. All right, so the pre-order premium tempered glass screen, 630. That's the number one selling of all products, to even include over any of the standalone, like the cabinets. So, like example, the Dragon's Lair bundle 128 was the hottest. Is the number one selling iircade variant at 504 units. But that's how. But mind you, this is how much that we're told to be sold. We're not counting doing the math on the returns. These returns are massive.
So who didn't read their marketing numbers? So this is my thing. If John got an MBA, Michael supposedly this smart guy from Bethesda, who didn't look at the marketing numbers and the sales numbers and say, okay, if we sold the most Dragon's Lair cabinets, let's do Dragon's Lair content. Let's push Dragon's Lair merch. Let's push, I'm confused here. If you sold the most in the one IP, then you need to bleed it, right? That's the rule of thumb.
Sorry, got an important miss. Yeah, I agree. Jesus Christ. Pre-order Space Ace. Now there's more to the Space Ace, but this is what I'm reading. Pre-order for Space Ace 15. Let's see what the golds were.
Damn, just 15?
You said 15 gold, 15 what? Space Ace golds?
Yes.
That sounds about right.
For pre-orders. Oh no, not for gold. I don't even. Hold on, let me type it in. Gold.
Wait, there was never a Space Ace gold. It was only the premium.
Well, there you go.
OG.
Now shipping orders for Space Invaders was 20. But that's the now shipping one. Let's see what the pre-orders was. Jesus. I'm doing Invaders, right? Yeah, Invaders. Okay, 2 come up. So pre-order for Gold Space Invaders. Damn it. Every time I click on it, it likes to. Okay, item 15. There we go. 87 for Space Invaders Gold Edition pre-order.
Space Invaders 87.
Yeah.
And out of that, how many? I'm sure a few were like given away. I know that for a
Yeah,
fact.
so I can tell by the giveaways because I think that's under a different variant. So I would assume the discount portion
Right.
would reflect giveaways. So the highest giveaway would be for the Dragon's Lair.
Okay, so that makes sense now. Okay. All right, so that's some real numbers there, boy. Y'all listening?
You know where you heard it first.
Yeah, I'm
If
about
you're
to say
interested
real
into
numbers.
besides gaming content, you know to click that notification button. And
Hey, you better click it. Ain't no non-facts coming out of this channel.
no.
These are receipts
You know,
with numbers.
and if you're a content creator, you should be pissed because this guy was telling you that this is the greatest sliced bread. And you want to go somewhere when you make these contents. You want to at least be told the truth.
Well, you see what I told Dubs when Dubs was in the chat earlier.
Yeah,
He should be mad at it because he wasting time doing content for 2,000 cabs.
He
and out of that 2,000, Messiah, 500 got YouTube.
Yeah.
And the other thing too, just imagine what they were telling to the what we can't call it the AAA developers, like Ubisoft and stuff, and planting numbers so that we could get their games.
Fundable. That was the fundable lie because that's where he would probably push that out to them so they can go check out his website, because hell, actually, let me see if I can pull that crap up.
Yeah, pull up that fundable. I don't think Messiah. Prince, you seen that fundable?
Yeah.
Okay. That dude had Streets of Rage on there. Like, come on, man. Come on, bro. Hey, come on, man. Hey, that dude was on the Fire Festival committee.
And
Strong as the investor of the Fire Festival, the festival that didn't happen.
When I first saw that, I thought it was plausible only because they had the relationship with PlayDigious, which is also has the Android version of Dead Cells. And I knew of that Streets of Rage 4 for the Android that PlayDigious was doing, and also a Turtles Shredder's Revenge that PlayDigious was doing. So I said, oh shit, okay. He ain't making it up. But then
here we go. Here we go. And now Michael S. is doing all the shows. Now, you should have seen him, Prince. He was on Super Game Room Dudes on Friday. Talking about, well, if y'all want to know more in depth about getting games, I could speak on that. Well, you should have spoke on that 6 months ago, fool.
Wait, I thought he had an NDA, so he couldn't speak on it.
Well, that's what P-Dubs asked him. He was like, well, I don't know the nature of your NDA, but you're welcome to come on the show. I told P-Dubs don't put him on the show. I wouldn't.
How do I get the shit on the second screen on this thing? I just press plus?
You got to go share. Yep, the plus.
So am I still visible or is this shit changed?
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay. Yeah. So then I just go add item.
Yep. And then you got to share your tab or your window or.
Oh. All right. Let me close this shit.
Yeah. You know what? And I remember this because that's when me and you were going back and forth. And I said, man, that's not Cuphead. That's not Cuphead on that page. I said, you need to take this down.
Yeah, because I labeled, but you can still see the picture that it was real. But and it wasn't the game that they had.
Right.
All right, so I do this. And then what was it? Man, how do you work this shit? I click add item?
Yeah, you got to do add.
All right, then I see the dynamic camera slot and media slot.
Oh, man, hold on. I'm going to have to hold up. Send it to me in the chat. In my personal chat.
All right.
And I'm going to go.
There. It's on the other one. You should see it. Hold on, let me.
All right, I'm about to go inside real quick.
Okay.
So far, I'm lucky that I haven't had any of the developers said anything like, "Hey, man, what's this BS I'm hearing about the company, man? You misguided me. You lied to me."
Mensa.
It was Mensa's fault.
That's what he wrote. He wrote that on his shit in the community group, and I sent that back to Arc System. All his little threats, I forwarded to the developer. It was like, this is how he's behaving, and you think it's a good idea to give him back this stuff?
All right, I'm backstage on
Don't
my
act
desktop.
stupid.
Man.
All right, I sent it to you. They're private. Oh, he left.
Man, yeah, I think down the line probably it. I mean, it doesn't even matter anymore. But I probably highlight to the community or whatever the messages of people that were interested, and then soon after asking them, what happened, and then giving them the information on what happened on those proposed games. But man, God, man, there was some good ones, like just amazing games. Either there's stuff that had to be stripped from them in order for it to work on iircade, or they couldn't work at all, or they just wasn't talking the right language as far as a payment or to get feasible to get their license for some of these games.
All right, it's up, Mensa.
Okay. I'm sorry, someone's asking if I'm okay. Let's see, good to go live. All right. Yeah, so I forgot the guy's name, but it wasn't me who he's in the other group, and he actually got kicked from your boy Six. His wife was getting high at it to a guy, and he said basically calm down, cupcake, something like that, and he got the boot.
Wow.
And either way, he discovered this. And I was like, man, I'm going to put this in the other group, the actual official sponsor group. But before I did, I got permission from the moderators and admins to do so. So I put it in the group. And then John was flagging it. It's a lie. Like, he was literally flagging my post, flagging his own group to the admins. And he was saying that it was false and this was fake, that this was Photoshop, and that I made it up. And how anyone here watching can accept that bullshit, I don't get it. But either way, I got smart. I was like, man, he's gonna call me a liar. So before he did all that, I had web archived it. So, and you can see the full thing here. So I made sure to take screenshots first, so in case he started deleting it. And he would go in there and he would start deleting it, and he was removing sections at a time. But once again, I got a web archive, so this is the original. And if you see it here, he's got the original video. He's got a video to show the investors, videos that y'all probably never even seen. If you go down. Keep going. Is it moving?
Oh, hey, Steven, what's going on, brother?
What's going on?
Hey, Creo, can you hear me?
Yeah, you can't see that?
Oh, no, yeah, there we go. It's okay. Like, start scrolling it for me.
I want y'all to see this video.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Hold on, man. Y'all got, because I don't think people seen this. Hold on. There we go. All right, Mensa. I'm gonna start it. I'm gonna run it back. This fool all sounding all professional. Look at this.
Hello, everybody. My name is Young. I'm the CEO of iircade. I started this company because I'm a huge gamer. I'm a gamer of 40 years myself, and I am in love with gaming. Ever since I was young, I was a huge gamer, and I used to go to local arcades all the time, spend all my allowances on playing games, and thought when I grow up someday, I want to have an arcade at my house. However, I wasn't able to make that happen because these arcade machines were very expensive. So I decided to make my own machine and found out that there were so many others who were looking for the same. So I decided to start iircade so that we can make this happen for everybody. iircade is made by gamers for gamers. We have a team of hardcore gamers with
Hardcore.
strong experiences in the industry who are able to make this thing happen. And we knew that we had to make an amazing device that we wanted to own and play ourselves. So we worked non-stop to bring this amazing product to you.
Amazing.
So he had Riptide on there, and that came out a little later, didn't
An
it?
experience.
No, that was
Yeah.
a pack in, I thought. Oh, no.
You're
did it?
standing
No,
right
that
in
was
front of a
newer.
crisp
Wasn't it?
19-inch display
He had that.
with 100 watts of powerful dual stereo speakers and premium arcade controllers that brings
Premium.
out an experience so immersive that feels like you're inside the game. What makes iircade so special? First of all, it's a connected arcade machine for your home. You'll be able to
Is
download
that
and install new games
Nah, that's
through
the PR.
iircade's
I mean,
Game
no,
Store app.
they
The
out of
cabinet
LA.
is made of premium wood. And
I
every
remember they
component
interviewed
in
the guy with his shirt off
iircade
by
is
the
custom
pool.
developed
Yes,
and
I met that
optimized
dude.
solely for
Yeah, he
gaming.
seemed pretty cool.
iircade is
He's
all
cool.
about fast, easy, and fun. All the games that we have on iircade Game Store are
You saw
officially
that?
licensed.
That little
Yeah.
And
what
we
was
will
that
have
game?
over 200 games, and our
I don't know
library
what-
will continue
You
to
saw
grow.
that, right?
This means you'll be
Yeah.
able to play well-known games,
There was a
as
game
well
on
as
there that
discover
was not
brand new
out yet.
titles on our Opportunity platform. The iircade experience enables you to play your favorite nostalgic retro games. And for the first time ever, you'll also be able to play modern games locally on one arcade machine. Let's make this happen together.
Damn.
See,
Thank
the
you.
thing is, he's not even pronouncing his own company right. Do you remember what was the official, how you're supposed to officially pronounce the word? It's iircade. You're not supposed to pronounce it as iircade. They came out with their own shit that long.
Man.
Remember that? Am
Yeah,
I the
I
only
remember
one?
that shit. Pull, hey, Mensa, I got a surprise for you.
Oh my lordy!
Pull that bullshit up.
Ooh,
Man, live review. Fuck that.
is this happening now? What's
That's
this?
happening now, man.
For what?
He
He
on
has
Michael
a
B.
lot
show.
of
Listen
nerve,
to
man.
I can't
Look at
always
this
be
shit.
happy, but I try, especially when
So
people.
I
Look at this shit,
sit.
man.
So
Again, I was an
Michael
acrobat.
B,
I was a
he knows
performer at
the
Disney
truth.
too. I always had to be happy, even
Yeah.
on terrible days.
This
I had to
dude-
smile.
I sent them the numbers.
So, I'm used to this. So.
Now he want to be
So
transparent.
another thing, Mystery Encoder's there. Mystery Encoder, you're a great guy.
Oh
He's
my
mentioning
God.
now. Why was Bill's
Guy.
Facebook?
There's a
post
team,
deleted
dude.
from the
I about that
iircade?
earlier too. I literally messaged him before I removed that post too.
Did you really?
Oh, he-
Yeah, it was
you
just
removing
causing too much
posts?
confusion.
Yeah, he's removed his
I'm
post.
in their community and stuff right now too. That's all it was. I literally messaged Bill. You can talk to him if you want to talk to Bill. But I literally
He's
messaged him,
lying.
like, yeah, I got to pull this down
He's
real quick
lying,
just to cause too
guys.
much confusion for people. So that's
Yeah.
it.
Okay. Thank
Trust
you very
me,
much.
Bill's
for the
not
super
happy
chat,
with
Mystery
what he did.
Encoder. Appreciate it, brother.
He's not telling the
All right,
truth.
so going from there, I remember
at
the
Prince.
first time I saw you involved with iircade, and I could be wrong here,
You was a
was the
game
famous
tester.
video where you and John went to Prentice's house and dropped off his iircade.
It was
When
sometime
did you
around
s-
then, at least. Yeah,
When,
I was
is that
behind
when
the
you
scenes.
started?
Sorry.
Is that when
What's
you
that?
started with iircade, and what drew you to the company, as this was an interesting opportunity
What a
for,
joke.
for you?
Yeah, so I was there before that. Still, I was there just about the time the Kickstarter started, right? So whole 6
Use
months
them as
prior
the
to
minstrel.
actual launch of the product, right? So
You're cool.
back then, I
Yep.
was QA lead and producer at that point, right? So I was mostly here for.
QA
I was brought in
lead.
originally just for the games. That's
Yeah.
it.
Oh, so you
So I've
should have
grown
stayed
into
there.
clearly. I wear a lot of hats, so I pretty much do everything at this point.
That's the problem.
But yeah, that was probably one of the first
Wore a
times
lot
I
of
was
hats
on
because
that
you fired
screen. I might have been there
everybody.
on screen on one of the lives or two.
Why would
before
Michael
that,
B even do
and at that
this
point, I
shit,
was
man?
behind the
That dude,
scenes,
man. That's-
helping Jean with the
News.
lives as well too, actually making content for them. a
Shit,
little
I
bit
forgot
too,
we can
like,
do this. I'm gonna start
making
live
sure things are
reviewing
running
mother-
smoothly.
Oh, so that's why Tech Buzz.
I don't know if this is
Hey,
all
look at Tech Buzz.
been mentioned before, but
That's
you
why
doing?
he said
all those
that.
hands in the
Oh.
video.
Look at, I didn't
Oh.
realize that. Now it
Where
makes
they
sense.
That's a good
You wanna
call.
Watch
Not always.
Michael
No, a
blow
lot of
up,
times I was on QA team.
blow smoke up
So, yeah.
everyone's back.
We had a team of free for QA too, and it was great.
Put that
Yes,
on the
it's
screen,
rare
man.
to
I
me.
wanted to ask
You know,
about this,
Kong,
as
of
you
course,
did
Kong's
mention
happy.
QA
He's
earlier.
got
One of my favorite
pirated
movies
games
of all
from
time, Grandma's Boy.
for the arcade.
How
So
accurate
he's
is
gonna
that
go back on him no more.
The least accurate movie.
He
of
didn't- he-
all.
he's
This
never
is-
lost
That is
out.
not what a
He
game
probably
studio is
never
like. So
paid
any of you
for
looking to
paid
get into
on
game design and go to game studios, absolutely nothing like it. So,
Oh,
So I
Jesus
can't go to the
Christ.
studio and just tell
Jeff
everybody I got
Walsh,
gray bush.
Howard,
That's
my
not going to
Soul
work.
Calibur, Capcom.
I mean, you could try. I guarantee you're going to go to HR probably day one.
Jazz,
but,
you could any chances of free Coleco games?
shoot your shot, I
Hey,
guess. But yeah.
somebody, hey, Castle fanboy,
We had
ask him
a
about
super chat
the
here from
Black
Dr.
Dildos
Z.
comment.
Just $2 super chat. No
Bro,
message.
mystery
Thank you very much,
encoder,
Dr.
man.
Z.
You know, I know
I
how the
appreciate
guys
it.
talk.
So
I ain't
what
gonna say no
drew
more.
you to iarcade? Because I don't see you as the kind of person to be like, oh, I
Why-
need a job.
Why is
You're
he
I know
really
doing this?
motivated by opportunity.
Why is he doing this kind of
things you can
interview
do.
now?
So what about iarcade?
Why wouldn't he try to do a
interest you
transparent
enough for you
interview
to
a
take
long
chance
time
on a
ago?
startup and go there? Was it the
I don't
idea of
understand
doing the
that.
startup?
See,
What's
and
the
poor
purpose of
Biggie,
this shit?
Yeah,
like,
so I mean, I come from a lot of big
Biggie
corporate
don't-
companies, right?
Biggie
So I
just don't
do
know,
like,
man. No,
I
they
did
should
like
not
the
hire
opportunity of
Biggie.
being a startup because
Biggie
you
has
can do
no
a lot
clue.
more, right? It's a lot more work. It's a lot more work for less pay, quite
Yeah.
honestly, is really what it is. But at the same time, there's, it's a risk reward benefit, right? So,
I hope people
sometimes
start
it pays out,
asking the
sometimes it doesn't. But
harder
at the same
questions.
time,
Hey,
Ain't
all I know
nobody
is
gonna
I
that
had a
ask
lot
if
more
he goes
control
to
here.
at games, I'm sending at
Not that I'm
games.
like a control freak, but like I
His
like
post
that
talking
I
about
could
black
actually make
widows
viable
and rape.
changes, right? I'm not just a
Yeah.
number in the system of a company. I can, I can
Console
go talk to my
fanboy in
teams
there.
and say, hey guys,
So let's see how long that lasts.
If we have a better way, or if something works
Ask him
better
the
for you
tough
guys,
questions,
let me
fam.
know, and we
Console
can, we can
fanboy.
adjust and make changes. So
Uh oh,
that's like
Kevin
me,
Clausen asking the tough
working
questions.
in office.
Have you
is
been in
great,
contact with?
hybrid to working?
Oh, look at
from
Brooklyn
home,
Business.
stuff
That
like
Fucking
dude's
that.
I
Working with my
hoping
teams and
that they'll
being able to literally
whatever.
make those changes. Be like, hey,
Brooklyn, this
we don't need to
dude.
be in the office anymore with the equipment because we're not testing it every single day. Do you guys want to change to hybrid? Sure. All right. That's everyone wants.
This is
That's what we did.
weird.
So yeah, that's really a big part that drew me to it. Beyond that, though, of course, it was just making a console. So whether these guys knew it or not, because when I joined the company, they didn't call it a console back then. I think I coined the term arcade console at that time too.
What?
You
But yeah,
snake.
it's
Snake.
early startup days is you don't really know what the product is quite yet. You're kind of learning. Everybody's learning it, right? Marketing is learning. At the
How's
same
it a
time towards you.
console?
We're trying to figure out what's going on, kind of, right?
You guys
So
are
with that,
snakes,
yeah, it
dude.
was really the draw of like a console, kind of just making that.
If Michaels
So,
calls it a
which is what we've done.
console,
We've released a system that
that's
you
not,
download
that's
games
not
on
it.
So
play.
It's
when I
a
was
fucking
doing the
arcade
videos
machine.
on
Leaderboards.
when I was
Hey.
doing the
It
videos
exists. It's
on
real.
Twitter,
So, and I'm right
I
behind you right now.
changed
So
along
that's
with
really it. So that's
iarcade.
really what
So
drew me
when
in
they
the most.
start
And then
change
I saw
calling
the
it arcade
potential from
console,
there, basically.
I
right? So,
went on videos to get
why couldn't we
devs
become
and
the
called it
next
arcade
Xbox
console
and
as
Nintendo
well.
and stuff? Why not?
Got to shoot your shot, right?
Right?
I didn't like it because I knew what they were doing.
Sometimes it pays out,
Mhm.
sometimes
They
it
were
doesn't.
trying
But
to
at the same
change
time,
the goalposts.
proud of what we did.
Well,
yeah.
we suck. So
All
let's
right, we get another
say
super
we
chat from
basically
Backward
suck.
Bob.
Like
I'm not going to try to
it,
delay the conversation.
it was a
too much
marketing
with super
strategy.
chats,
it just didn't
but,
play out for me.
I got to read them.
Did
And
for
Why
everybody
would
else.
Mike do this now,
Backward
though?
Bob says, thank you for sticking with it to the end. Your
I
team
don't
has
know.
been very
Needs
busy
the
today.
clicks.
Facebook page is very active.
Fine, I guess.
I will miss your team.
Thank you.
Thanks. I appreciate
Shut
it.
up.
We'll miss you too. Yeah. The community has been a huge part of it this whole way, right? So we've put a lot of changes in the system.
Fucking CKFB.
Hey, KFB, get
You
him
know,
with the
thank
real
you very much
questions,
for the
man. Ain't
super
nobody
chat. That's
asking
one
no
of
real
the
questions.
things we'll talk about a little bit later. Is the community and family that was built here?
What
and
family?
I
That's
want
not
to
what
talk
he
about
told
that.
me.
Where is it going to go?
Yeah, Michael B.
That's not what Michael told
You guys
me.
have,
Yeah, man.
you know,
This shit.
Come on,
enabled
Michael.
a way
Come
to
on,
do
man.
it. So we'll
You
talk
good,
about
Check
dude.
that.
You
Buzz,
know
what's
better.
going
I
on
wanna
here,
talk
man?
about,
Michael, come on, man. That's
so you
not how
started
we
there
talk.
with QA. How did your role end up evolving?
Okay.
Because
Well, that's a good
towards the
question.
end, I mean, you were
It
basically
is.
the public face.
That's a good question.
John
Yeah.
kind of disappeared a little bit.
You went from
became
QA
I guess
to
he's got to be civil. I mean, he invited
basically,
the
if
man on
someone
the
said
show.
iarcade,
Yeah, I
they would
guess so. I'll
stick
give
your
him a
face on a
pass.
machine and be like, yeah, that's Michael's machine there towards the end. So how did that slowly transition to there?
Because
How
John
did
was
you end up
facing
taking on your
legal
different
issues.
roles with the company?
Yeah, so I mean, it really just
I have a
evolved
question. Where the
from, like,
fuck's
starting
John?
off, learning the system, the backend system of
I'll be
the
back.
games, right?
Put
How
the
do you
fucking
package
pillow under
games?
my
How do you put
ass.
them into the system? How do we download the games?
Hey,
all that
they
stuff,
going.
testing all of that stuff, right? How do we
Uh-oh,
build these games?
NW
How do we
asking what a
assemble? How do
stream.
we
Hey,
come back?
put it in the
So
chat.
after really I'm the one
Where's
who
Minster
I help
chat?
out with all this stuff.
Putting up-
Vince, I need admin
had a big
rights.
hand, I had a really big hand in it at first.
I gotta figure this shit out.
Ways, right? And then towards the end now too, I still have a big hand
Hold
in
on.
everything, of course. But
Yeah.
I
What's
have
going on?
different teams of
People
people
are
to sort of
asking
mitigate
for your
or
link.
to-
I mean, for the link
to
to
direct
this
a little bit
stream.
more, right? So
Mitigate.
To Michael's
There's a
stream?
different word
Yeah,
I'm
hold
looking
on.
for. I'm a little tongue tied right now, but
You
yeah.
should be able to put.
But yeah, basically, I'm the one who
Oh,
literally
I don't
knows everything about all the systems. All the teams come through me. I have. To
I don't go
communicate.
on his show.
That's really my job.
I wouldn't know.
is Communicate
I got it.
between all of our teams, and that's just not. That's
90% of what I see is
not
because other
marketing,
people send me the links. That's just the
Warriors,
truth.
that's licensing. That's so many different things, right? And I'm the one who also deals directly with all of our developers, right? So beyond our CCO as well too, it's me, right? So I'm the one behind the scenes, really getting the games.
I
on the
can't
platform,
gauge
which is,
Kong.
a big part of what I do. as
I
well
can't
as
either,
our
man.
I
engineers.
can't gauge that, man. I
Hey,
was
NW,
hoping
check the
that
chat.
he wasn't for
Put in
the
all these
bullshit.
drivers, right? Sinden has open source drivers, but we had to but we had to make them work for our
All
system.
right, what do you need me to
A lot of
do?
work. So
They
and other
want
things beyond. So yeah,
the
so really
link
that's
to
how I got
this
to where I was.
stream.
How about you?
Just
Can you put it
very
in the
logical
private
person
chat? And
that
then I'll
was really
put it
good
in
at
the.
really fast. Honestly,
There's a private chat
really
over here. I can just copy. There we go.
There we go.
Honestly, it's my selling point for me.
It's a curse, isn't it?
All right,
Because
copy
Yeah, it's a
link.
blessing and a curse,
Yeah,
right? Like
you
great,
see Mystery
great,
Encoder's
like,
comment.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
he's
they
saying
ignore.
he's responsible for all of the failure too.
yeah, I was
Okay,
telling
Mr.
him,
I'm a
Thank you.
workhorse anyway, no matter what. So
Thank
like,
you.
Oh
it's
Jesus,
just
what did I do?
what I'm used to, so I wouldn't
So,
have it.
Look at my face.
I was telling you a little bit before with my job.
How did that happen?
End up having to do everything. It's
This
the way
dude
it
has
is.
flipped
And,
himself.
you ever watch the show Heroes?
Absolutely, yeah.
How is
So
this?
I kind of.
Kevin Clausen asking some tough questions.
Siler. It's been a long
Okay,
time since I
that was
watched
the
it.
machine.
And
That was
yeah,
weird.
and remember what his power was. His dad was a watchmaker, so he would get in and just see how something was done, and then he could do it.
Yeah,
And that's kind of sounds like what it is.
iircade's problem
matter
is that
what,
they
he would find
did
it.
not enough promotions as well.
I actually drive a Nissan Versa.
If
That's
you
not
got
true.
me doing promotions,
Yeah, Nissan Versa.
that's
Hero
a
used to say
problem.
Nissan Versa. Yeah,
They were trying to use Princess for
I've been in
promotions
your
too.
car, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Wow.
Oh, they buddies. So
All
I
right.
mean, shit. I expect
Catch up
them
with a
to.
couple. I should know that. So we got backward Bob,
He did.
and we just had
Did
one
that
come
just
in.
skip,
It's
or
just
did he
a
remove
donation.
that
Thank you
mystery
very much.
encoder?
Brian, if you wanted to throw something in your message,
think it
feel
skipped.
free
I
to
think
do
it
so.
went
I'll
up.
see if I can catch it
Okay.
and just bring it up. Thank you very much for the super chat, brother. People are so kind. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, again, that's the biggest thing with a project like this, especially. So again, coming from like really big corporate companies, you don't get to interface a lot with the community, right?
Yeah.
Or like there's certain people who do, and that's pretty much it, right? For us, it's it's different here for iircade, especially like we are
So
very
punchable.
open with everybody. This whole stuff.
Somebody said, "What's your biggest regret for working?"
John doing live streams,
Working
right?
for
Basically, which we showed off
iircade.
the other day. So it's pretty crazy. So that was
Rumor
definitely
is Glenn will release more.
Yeah,
The fact
be
about
very-
that rumor
very
is
open,
it's
facing with
where
people.
Glenn was always trying to go. He's going
it
to
is
take
true,
over
man,
the
and we'll
remaining
talk about that a little
IP
bit later.
left,
I don't
bootleg
know if you had
style.
a chance to watch.
There's already
Super Game
3,000
Reviews
out.
on
That's
Friday.
3,000
Nostalgia,
more products
like,
he's
had
allowed to
some
push out
critical
to people
comments about
Right.
the openness.
unhinged.
And
Because
so
he
we'll
could just
talk a
make it
little
for
bit
this
about that.
thing, and he
Tons
knows
of
he's got
stuff.
a cult
Like, we'll
following.
talk
So
about
even if it's enough
someday
to
stuff.
feed you every month, he's good to go.
Steven Nostalgia.
Right, because there's
You don't
games
wanna
like
meet him. I've
Soul
met him. He's
Divide
terrible.
and Bloody Wolf and
No,
all
he's
those
awesome,
other games
actually.
they
If you're
didn't
coming
get to
to,
release.
Cleveland,
Gunbird
so
2.
we think he's coming. We don't
And
know.
because
He's
with
been
that
in
whole
the wrapped up
Glencade
question
thing, he's
marks. So
making his
hopefully
own
he's gonna
little
be there.
pie board.
We'll see.
He's probably
I think I'm
got
going to be
permission
there.
to
I don't
put
know
the
yet. It'll kind of
Flash OS
depends
on
on where
there.
I'm at the time,
Yeah.
right? So if I'm still in
Mm.
Chicago, it's a 5-hour job. It's easy.
That's the
and I
only
can
way
live
the
right there in
boards
Ohio,
work.
So
Before
if
John left, he
somewhere
had
else
to
in
have
the world, or if
an
I'm across the
OS on
country,
that
we'll
pie
see.
board.
But I'm trying to make it there. Yeah,
That's
Mm.
my
because
because I
love
don't
you
see
guys
how
on
that
show.
board's going to work with
Shout
the
out to Tom,
classic.
who's watching too. I know he's in your chat a lot too. So Cleveland Gaming Classic is fantastic. I'm so excited that all of you guys are going this year too. So because we've gone the past couple years and it's fantastic to watch it grow, and I love it.
I'm excited. I'm gonna admit I've also got friends in the Cleveland area. So I've been on YouTube a long time. I've got people, like a group of people that I've been friends with for like 10 years. We still talk. It's actually been longer, like 12 years. We still talk, and we're actually going to meet up at the convention for the first time too. So this is going to be amazing. Like, I can't wait. We gotta go ahead. Sorry.
I haven't actually met Glenn in person in the flesh yet too. So that's
Yeah.
the other big part of it too. So
I was so mad that Glenn never came to Game and Brew. Like
he tried.
I know. I was calling him, harassing him. All right, we got a couple more super chats.
I'm sorry, but I remember I have a soundbite
Council
from Michael
fanboy.
B, and I swear he
I would
said,
like to know how much of a contribution
I'm
my
gonna get
channel
some
made to the
happy
demise
juice and
of
I'm gonna get the fuck on out of here.
Clarity.
You know,
So-
like if he can contest it all he wants, I'll just put it on the internet and
Look at
I'll
this.
just figure it out. But that's the soundbite I heard that he didn't
Mystery
want to be
Encoder
there
has
any
another
longer.
good
He was disappointed.
discussion, too. He I know Mystery Encoder, good guy. He's trying to do something for the community, and I think right now, he just needs a little bit of time before he can do it. That's really what.
It's funny because I swore Mystery Encoder wears different hats and is different people.
Mystery Encoder, like he's been waiting and holding off to all this time too, which is fantastic. Because I'm pretty sure he's had one for a while, honestly too. We've changed the system to add securities and things too, but I know he's doing something else entirely different than what I expected, kind of. But yeah, so shout out to him too, because
shout out to the Mystery Encoder
for hacking. Man, this is
Not-
the
it's
shit.
sort of against our
He's
original
never gonna.
policy, right?
He's
At the
never
same
gonna.
time, so like we never
come back
encourage
to the
modding
gaming
into,
community
like,
ever.
games themselves, right? But like
That's
right.
That's a clip right there.
But yeah, but I get like people
Yeah,
want
you
to
never gonna make it in
do,
this
and we
industry
cannot do that.
ever again,
We
dude.
legally
Because
can't
I'm
do
gonna
that
take that to
anyway. So,
any
like, we just
fucking
can't-
employer.
It doesn't work with our licensing. It's not.
He's
how the system's
done, dude.
built. It would take us another.
He's done. Thank you.
Why would
You
he
just
say
found-
that?
You just fired yourself from
Which
any
I've already
legit
said.
job in the gaming
But
industry.
yeah, so shout out to him for figuring out.
Shout
a way
out to
you know,
fucking that.
to lengthen everything.
You're
for
an
you guys
idiot
too,
for
but,
that comment.
Beyond that too, so I don't know how complex that one is too.
Dude,
Of course, we have
shit, I
games
went
that
over there, but I can't comment because I have been
totally
subscribed for
allow,
20. Damn, that's a
especially
long
modern stuff
time,
too. I don't
man.
really
Wow.
He
rip
put
that
on a
away unless I
20-minute
have to,
restriction.
honestly. I try not to. I
He
really
knew it
don't
was
delete
gonna
as many
happen.
comments as you
That's
guys
why.
think. I kind of let the
Like,
community kind of
he
run
could've put
wild,
it in
and
a
like
minute.
you guys see
Jesus Christ, 20 though.
It
Gets wild. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some points when I gotta ban some people sometimes because you can only deal with the nonsense for so long. But yeah, so yeah, you can talk about there.
This shit, man.
It's kind of a.
What's he talking about?
No, I'm going to save that.
What
for later. I don't want
nonsense?
to talk about it now.
What
but we'll
is
talk
he
about
talking
Facebook
about?
later,
Anybody know?
Talk
because
about community
that
members.
one's a difficult one.
Banning
for me
people.
because, like, you get
Banning
fan
people.
pages, then you get official pages.
So this piece of shit.
Oh, here you go. Listen up.
companies on fan pages and their
Let's see what he
involvement,
say on
so
this.
I'm going to save that for later. I don't want to talk about it yet, but I
Oh
wanna say
my
thank you
God!
very
Why
much
saving
Mr.
that for
Doug.
later? That's
Good
the point.
dude. I know he's trying to get his message out there and talk to people because he's trying to help stuff. So it's only a matter of time. And thank you very much, Zohar, for the super chat as well. Sorry if the percentage wasn't as high as you wanted.
Zohar crazy.
Oh, we get
man.
another one here. Zohar again.
Uh-oh.
Another
Read
499
it.
super chat. Zohar, you don't got to do that, man. So you're saying I only contributed 30%. Did the other come from alpha bread or brain water? Just curious. Well, we'll get to the bottom of
Wow.
that. Stay tuned. Thank you very much, brother.
Oh,
Anyways,
he glazing
so,
over this shit.
So your role changed with the company, and
This is so
you were
not
doing a lot
fair.
with the licensing side of things too, right?
Uh-oh,
so-
Prince, listen.
Yes and no, right? So really, our CCO handles like the real big fish, especially for the
Yeah,
arcade
some big
space,
shit.
especially too. So usually I don't sit down on those two because a lot of times, honestly, you have a 30-something-year-old when you're sitting in a room of a lot of
I know.
older Japanese men. Sometimes it doesn't pan out too well with the
What that
conversation,
mean, Michael?
So
What's that got to
Anyway,
do with nothing?
they don't quite
What
trust
that
us enough
mean?
sometimes.
Hey,
right,
y'all
with
clip
even
that.
though
Hold the
you can
Japanese,
show it
man.
running on
What
your
that
product
mean?
flawlessly, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Man, I'm about to
Anyway,
go comment that.
Yeah, so I did do that sometimes, but a lot of times I worked with our more modern developers.
So you're saying
particularly,
that they
so I
don't
would still work with
respect
those teams as well,
another
too,
human
our
being in the
big
room?
ones.
Hey, can
That
somebody?
doesn't
I can't
exist.
get out of the
I still do
video.
talk
Can
to them
somebody
directly,
comment that?
get their games on.
What do you
our
mean
system,
by
but yeah, the
older
actual,
Japanese
deal
men?
itself? A lot of times for the bigger companies, I'll let him do it.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's not rape
I
unless
don't
it's a
like to
black
deal with money.
dildo, so it's not
I'm good
Japanese.
with money. I just don't like to
That's
deal
what
with it,
he
so
said on his.
I am not good with money.
I wear I'm okay with it. I'm okay with pushing that one aside.
Guys,
Console
everybody,
fanboy has a
everybody here,
narcissistic
corners
personality
here.
disorder.
Thank you very
Oh,
much,
Lord.
Corner
He's
Kid.
gonna allow that comment to say.
Fun guy.
Well, I agree with
So,
him, but
the reason why, and I want to
No,
make sure I didn't miss a super chat
joking.
here. We got one here from Rocky.
Uh-oh, look
Sure
at
I didn't
Rocky.
miss it. Hold on here now.
Thank
am I
you,
a little too loud,
Rocky.
Michael? I'm not
You're
popping
okay on
there,
my
am I?
end at least. I don't know about for everybody else.
Okay. So
Please read it.
what Rocky says, encouraging Glenn's deck allows for illegal use of ROMs. How will this affect Zhang's ability to
Thank
get legit
you.
licenses in the future? Well, one, we
Well,
don't
they're
know
bankrupt.
if Zhang's ever going to do another game system again. No one knows what the future is for Zhang, right? So that
Yeah.
the other
Look
thing
at
too
Brooklyn
is
Menace.
what Glenn's deck does
Kissing corner
is
K
it
there.
allows you the ability to put in a single board. Basically, it's the same as if you bought an iircade and you said, well, screw this, I'm going to gut it and put it in a Raspberry Pi. But what this allows you to do is do a soft switch so you don't have to take out the original.
Yeah.
So it's not like you guys are opening up your platform.
No,
to
it's not. It's
allow-
not our board or our platform. It's an entirely separate board that he'll be selling with it.
So it
later
was
on
a
in the year.
rip-off to begin
The
with.
control deck itself is
Yep.
simply for.
So he
control,
never had a
right?
solution
And then
for the
later on in the year,
arcade.
He never
He
had a
never
solution.
had it.
That was
He's
just
liar.
switch
He
between
switched over
the
to a
arcade
fucking
board
PC
as
just
well
like
as a
everybody
separate
else.
motherboard entirely, which
This
again, at that point, that's your
motherfucker,
board, you can
dude.
do whatever you want with it, right? So it's not
Yeah.
locked down like ours is.
Yeah, it's no
Wow.
different than right now. Anybody could buy an iircade and be like, man, great speakers, great controls.
Damn,
I'm a
man.
gun.
Who
Hey,
believes
you know
that
what?
Glenn ever actually
Yeah,
had
yeah.
a solution?
Yeah, so it's a way.
There was
to-
never a
and
solution then.
Glenn's amazing too for doing all that stuff
You
too. He
fucker,
originally wasn't
you guys
planning
are
on doing a
lied
board
to.
switch like that too.
Watch
Originally, it was
this,
just the control
y'all.
deck that we were working on
Yeah.
too, and
Y'all
then
get
of course,
ready
we got
for the
news.
show.
It's like, okay, here's what I
I
can do.
disagree
and try
that
to do,
Glenn's
so
deck
that's
allows
why.
for illegal use.
Against you
It's
guys, if
all
you haven't pre-ordered yet, if you're gonna pre-order
illegal.
Glenn's
It's
deck,
not
you can use this 500
illegal.
orders,
But
so
it's
up to you
okay.
guys.
We all do
'Cause
it.
it's
You don't
hits it,
own
he
the
hits it great.
ROMs.
If
You
not,
don't own no
so it goes, but
20,000
he
fucking
said if the
ROMs.
community
Come
wants
on,
it, that's what he's
man.
gonna do. So,
Oh,
So,
there goes our
Yeah,
Canadian,
thank you very much for the
Canada
super chat,
Phil.
Rocky. Canada Phil, I'm gonna just
There
give
we
you
go,
really quick
Canada.
It doesn't. You don't need Glenn's deck in order to put in Raspberry Pi or SBC. What Glenn's trying to do is develop this switch so you can switch back and forth between the original system and not. There might be other ways to do it.
No, he's
no one's
right.
saying it's the only way. It's just an easy way.
It's just an easy way, yeah. And I mean, that's our core audience too, right? So we make
Look at this.
So we make a product that is as plug and play as possible, right? So
look at this crap. You see that? Keep rolling. That
I don't
cringe
usually
ass
talk about the
fucking.
company,
But you can now. We can talk about them all.
Kind of, yeah. I'm not
Well played.
Yeah.
That's a terrible
Bill's
idea.
retro enjoyed the
yeah,
short.
At Games
Whatever.
is a great product.
Look at that.
They
I'm
make good
getting
stuff, but, like they're a different user
Real
base
time
than
over
because they're built for people to tinker with a lot more.
Look, I'm taking over.
We are literally the person who just wants to set up the machine, plug it
He's
in,
doing this live.
and then the game downloads. They can
Of
just
course
turn it
not.
on.
Why are you
That's it, right?
fanboys
that's
framing
more
it as
our
such?
demographic, and so you know, intricate technical things and
Oh
stuff.
my lordy.
Our general user base just doesn't want that, honestly. That's why a lot of times you just won't see a lot
All
of
right.
in your system, honestly, too.
You lie, fool.
Yeah, I mean,
I know.
Obviously,
Let's see.
I'm not going to turn it into a dresser.
Super
Of course
chat.
not. Why are fanboys framing it as such?
Super chat.
Everybody's a mod. I do have some mods coming up. Though.
I
Are you
see.
gonna make another dresser kid?
No, I'm not going to make another dresser.
If the
kit. I got
spinner
a couple
trap
other
ball,
things up.
that's why
This is
none of his
cocktail table
spinner
fix.
trap ball stuff work
No,
because it was
the
never
dresser kit
designed
is
for it.
supposed to be well. I'll tell you a funny story about that. So my idea was always to build an At Games cocktail table. That's
I
what
want you to put in why does
iRcade
iRcade only have 3,200 games?
doing it? I was like, yeah, I'm gonna finally build my At Games.
You said what?
table. He's
Why
like,
does
oh,
why is it that
those killer
iRcade
things
only
is
roughly
already
has
doing it.
about
I was like,
3,200?
You got me into
consoles
this, and I
out?
can't even build what I want. You son of a- Video Game Vegas here, $10 super chat, and you don't got to do that. Michael S. Just want to thank you, John, iRcade team personally for bringing an amazing machine to my home arcade. So many great games I love. Can't thank you enough. Michael B, you also rock. I feel like I'm only getting a little bit of that, but that's okay.
Well, thank you, Video Game Vegas. We appreciate it a lot. So again, we built it for you guys, and as much as it was built for ourselves, we built it for you guys, right? So yeah, glad that we had some fun, and you can still have fun on it too. So it's not the end yet.
Super chat. What was your
And we got
biggest
our buddy
regret?
Zohar here again.
Zohar!
Question. Will the funds from customers buying games from the iRcade store go towards game developers or towards?
Read
I
it.
can't
Read
answer
it.
a lot of the question, but yes, the developers get paid for the games that are being pulled right
He
now.
didn't want to read it.
Yes, 100%.
This is
Any
true.
game,
Read it.
any game that
Come
you buy on our
on,
system,
man.
the developer gets paid for that. Yes, they're
Yeah.
whatever the portion may be, right? Every deal's a little different, but yes,
Yeah, and Zohar, I mean, like the company's going through bankruptcy.
we don't get to
proceedings
keep
right
that money.
now. Yeah, no.
I'm not pocketing $1 million+ right now. I wish that'd be nice, but no, that's not
Yeah.
how it works. So
Yes, it is.
Mystery
When you
Coder's
put it
here.
towards a
$5
pension,
tip. Thank you very much, Zohar.
they just dissolve the
Again,
entity.
don't have
You
to do
keep
that. If
the
you
rest
need
of the
bus
portion
fare
of the money.
or
Like
money to
everyone
get
knows how
home,
businesses
again,
work.
once
You don't
again,
go
just
bankrupt
hit me up. I'll hook you up afterwards.
for a business.
You don't need to keep spending.
It just
Brooklyn,
dissolves.
Brooklyn is a fool.
Mystery
You see
Coder,
what he
$5
said? It
super
will
chat.
remain the
Thank you,
most
everyone.
played
Answer
home
my questions.
arcade in my
I've
game
been working in
room.
a similar industry. I know it's not
It's because he's 70 years old. He doesn't know anything better.
Thank you very
That's
much.
cap.
Meth is a
Hey,
hell of
Big
a
Creole,
drug.
what's
man.
happening, brother? Okay, so
Oh, I got a shout out.
where were we? I'm a little distracted right now. And here's another thing I wanted to talk about.
Look,
a lot of people don't
I
really
call-
know.
I'ma
the
call
inner workings
Brooklyn
of
ass out in there.
iRcade. They think it's just like a mom.
That's
and
cap,
pop,
Brooklyn.
just
Come on,
John,
man.
Just you, and like that's it. That's the decision making team. Everything lives and dies with you guys. I don't know if you can answer this, but that's not really the way things work. I mean, you guys have people you answer to, right?
yes, yes and no, right? So
The Korean
a
Mafia.
lot of stuff is our decisions, right? So sometimes my decision, not usually, honestly, but a lot of times it's
Oh, he talking
our
shit.
chiefs of staff and stuff too, which includes John. But beyond them, even too, we do have a board of directors, right? We are an
Canada
investment.
Phil in the
We're a company
building.
that has
Look, he's talking about the
investors
Korean
above
folks.
us, right? So if the
See, I
investors
told
have the
you.
lion's share of the
I
company,
was
which they
right.
do in this case, then
The
they
actual
make decisions.
president of
So that is what
iRcade
it
is
is. Usually
Chang.
they take our consulting into heavy consideration. Usually it's our decisions, but
It's Chang,
not always. So
whose
sometimes you
wife
work
is
on
the
some projects that
investor group.
you may not necessarily
Fucking,
agree with, but
come on,
it
man.
is what it is. Resources are spent the way that they dictate. So that's not always my decision. Yeah, I wish it was more my decision.
Super chat. Bye, Brad.
All right. I got so many questions, Michael, and I'm sorry. I'm going to try not to keep you too long. Because
Watch this.
I don't know if you've ever watched my show before. When I have guests, sometimes I keep them way
We
too
can go
long.
as long as you guys want.
All
You
right.
know, if people
Oh
wanna
my
see
God,
the
Jason
hours
M.
involved, so.
That's crazy. Huge super chat here from Jason M. Super chat. Can we get rid of the typical stream hijacking once for all? Many of us pretty
You
tired
could
of
get
the
a
Zohar
legal-
Oh, here they go.
show about him. Many of us feel the same way. And thank you very much for the super chat. I understand that a lot of people don't like other people's comments and seeing stuff there.
Hey, look at it. Look
Thank
what I
you very
put.
much for saying that.
You're allowed to block
Try
them.
to offer an open opportunity to everybody to ask questions if they give a subject or if they put something in the comment book.
Prince must have
Hopefully,
seen my
You
comment.
got to give credit
we'll
where
honor
credit
you
due for
very
Michael
shortly.
for actually showing it, and you know it's
And
his stream and
that
he
super
doesn't
chat is
have to.
bananas. You didn't
That's
have
He
to.
said, "I'm not
Thank you
going
very
anywhere,
much.
Casey."
So, before I get distracted, I gotta ask you again about
Drop
this.
so hard. Like, what's
I
wrong with
was
people?
starting,
Like,
and then I got distracted.
it's your
so I started
opinion.
asking you about licensing.
Ain't
fine.
nobody
And
else
this is
super
where it's going to
chatting.
get interesting.
Yeah.
So, with licensing,
He said, Brad.
iircade, one of the things that
was that a real
sometimes
super
people have been very critical of is the game's library. And here's the thing that
You should
I
not
find
read
really
that if
super
you have
interesting about
integrity,
this
Michael B. How you gonna tell them what to
how
do?
do you guys choose
You
your
saw
games?
that?
Like,
Hold on,
how
that's a
does that
screenshot.
process work?
Oh, where did it
How
go?
difficult it is?
Scroll up on
Here
his
we
own
go.
shit. Oh
All
man, I need.
Yeah, I don't know if that made sense. I'm sorry.
What time
So,
mark
yeah, I
are
got
we
you.
at
Yeah,
on
so
that video?
The games that we choose.
Wow,
so we
he
see all
has
the
the
games that you guys
nerve.
want.
He got the nerve.
Very easy.
They say
Integrity,
And then you'll, of
plagiarizing
course,
somebody else's
you'll get
shit.
people all the time too. Why aren't you going after this game? Why aren't you going that game?
Brad.
Even
He
though
takes
we
over
have
other
already talked
people's
to that
streams. I
developer,
have
they
it where
said
Michael
no,
said,
or
I
they
don't
said not
understand
right
what he
now,
was
things like
doing.
that.
You
So
know, like it was
again,
sad. It
I
really was
said this so
Brad
many times on
acting
our
a fool in
streams
my
too.
own stream.
Just can't understand
And actually,
licensing
if you
until you have to deal
recall,
with it
guess what?
yourself.
Does Brad?
There is no
does it
logical
look like Brad
side
has
to
a
it.
wrench
Almost
anymore?
95% of the time, it's illogical.
The console fanboy said
Us,
shit.
we're in that
Brad
fun,
got his wrench
we're in that
removed.
fun mix too, where you guys want modern games.
Oh, now he
You guys
telling me
also want
typing in
classic
caps
games.
is rude.
Some people love the Coleco games, even
Hey,
though
look
you
at
hate them.
Pliskin.
I know you do.
Hey, tell him
look at
plagiarizing
that
from
all the time.
Wikipedia
So we're in
is
that
immoral.
fun system of that too, where we have to like pick and choose a little bit.
Mr.
That way too, but
Wikipedia
it
got
doesn't always come down to
integrity.
that too.
Hey,
Sometimes
Dom,
sometimes it is
say
funding.
plagiarizing from
'Cause
Wiki is
sometimes you
immoral.
just get these ridiculous pricing
You could be civil.
structures. It's like these 10 games, and it's like, well, none of these are like games that are
We
like
gonna see
really
a Michael
AAA like
B.
games
read.
that you want anyway. So this isn't
They trying to
games for
kick
me, so we
console
gotta make
fanboy
decisions.
out.
When we literally have to do all the work,
They
put it
trying to kick
online,
him out.
put the leaderboards in there too, get all this stuff working for it.
Notice
we're doing all the
Brooklyn
work,
quiet.
and then you're going to take the profit anyway. too,
Brooklyn
and we
ain't
have to
said
pay you
nothing.
for that to do that.
I know.
It's rough, right? So you have to take that into account as a business too. We have to recoup the loss on that. You can't just always be taking losses.
Like,
you have to,
Man, these
Yeah.
people
beyond
are
that, so the
taking it
games that we
too
pick,
hard.
though,
Like,
it depends.
This is
Some games come
crazy.
to
It's
you
a
for
fucking
free too,
toy.
because the developer reached
yeah.
out to us.
But
themselves.
why are they not mad at
Money-
this fucker who
We are a
mismanaged it? It
console,
doesn't
we
make
don't
any
limit
sense.
what's on there, right? It's the
Nope.
same thing as like a Switch, where you have a ton of different games, a ton of different.
Be
developers, and
respectful,
of course you
Michael
have
B.
games
Now he
that are,
he
you know,
gatekeeping
really
Michael
high
B.
quality games from
Who said
big,
that?
big
Brad,
publishers and developers.
stop
Of
gatekeeping.
course, you got games that were made by one dude in his basement, and it's his first game ever, and he just is.
How
happy
you
to
gonna
have
tell
it out
Michael
there,
B
right?
what to
So
say?
we support all of that. So
Oh,
we have
be
that huge range
respectful
spectrum.
of
Yeah, the
Michael
games that we
B.
pick
Okay,
are
that's
based on a
okay.
huge range of things. A lot of times too, we'll go after games. It's not even about money. It's the developer just doesn't have the time currently, right?
Yeah.
So you get a
That's
lot of
funny.
modern
Look at my
games.
comment.
particularly
It's
You
just
silly.
satire.
You
Relax,
guys will see a game
Louses.
like say, well, I won't say
Relax.
Turtles because that's a different
Look
thing
at
entirely
Thor.
for licensing. So you guys unfortunately are not going to see Turtles either too. I thought we had that one in the pocket honestly too. I really thought we did because we
Stop
work with them.
gatekeeping Michael B.
But then
Hey, you
somebody
better read
else,
my
an
super
outside
chat.
company, which is a
Somebody sent the $50
$40
super
Said
chat. to
relax,
Michael.
came in and said,
children.
we're actually
You
going
know
to
that.
on our platform instead. So we're going to take this.
Oh, ask him about
yeah,
Vanilla
so,
Beast.
no,
Yes.
But anyway, there's those situations too. But beyond
Yeah,
that,
somebody
we've been,
needs to super
like
chat
a
about
modern game
Vanilla
developer
Beast.
too, who's maybe like a mid-level developer, right? So good
Mike,
games.
ask him about
They've been released for maybe a year at that point,
Chris,
right?
Jazz
And say, hey,
Ukulele, is that
can you get
is
this
that
game with
Rainwater?
DLCs and stuff too? They're like, oh, it's a really cool platform. We'd love to have it there and stuff too. And like, how do we do it?
No,
So
that's
we can enjoy the
Nick.
process.
He uses
Like, awesome.
that
And then they'll be
goalie.
like,
Like that's the only
look into
person who talks like
or
that.
sometimes it's just like we don't have the time right
Goalie.
now. You know, our team is stretched.
You a
we're
grown
working
ass
on
man.
a
Grow the
weekend,
fuck up.
right? We don't want to go back to that game. We just don't want to put the resources into it. It's like,
You
yeah,
too
that's how it is.
can't defend
And for
yourself.
us, it's hard to
Hey, look
entice
how
us
Brooklyn
at
get
that, or it's hard
quiet
to
when I
entice them
come
at
in
that
the
point
room.
too, because the
He
user
ain't made
base
no
isn't quite big
comments.
enough, right? We don't have 1 million users yet, right?
Oh, he's a burner
Realistically,
account because that's the
it's
same
just-
shit
that's
that
what they're
the
looking for
console
when it comes to,
nutboy
But
was
how do you
doing.
get there? It's a catch-22 of how do you get there, right? You want the games, you get there with the games, but you can't get the games until you get there. So what do? Right? So you have to do a lot of wheeling and dealing. You have to do a lot of different things and looking around the market and stuff too.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, they getting Brad. They getting him.
Brad talks
Guys,
about integrity and makes
listen, me and Michael are
anti-trans
here.
videos.
Happy to answer questions.
Oh,
Happy to talk about
What's his
IRCs and
name?
stuff like
Oh.
that. Just
Double A 2018.
Your personal favorite of me. Please stop fighting amongst yourselves. Talk about us. If you want to say something about me, cool, man. I'm here for it. I'll jump in the fire with you, but don't be fighting with each other in the chat. Feel free to throw anything you want about like, the topic, us. Just don't be at each other. Don't be asking for people to be blocked. I don't like stuff like that.
Uh-oh.
Thank
Will
you.
not do
Thank
it
you.
together as
Thank you,
peers.
Michael B.
Watching the show and have fun.
Thank you, Michael B.
All
They
right,
get-
so
They're laughing. They
really
get
quickly,
satire
with
too.
the games, I'm one of the proponents. Like, I was really hard on you guys. I'm hard on that games too. It's not because like I'm trying to crap on you guys. It's just like
Yeah,
I see things,
Pliskin, that's
and
right.
again, I'm not
Papa
at the level
Brad
you're
did
at. I'm at
start it.
10,000 foot level where I don't really understand how everything works, and I'm like, man, I think that this could work, and I think you guys should do this. I always talk
And I
about
get it.
that home run.
Oh,
Mutual respect.
Hey,
home run. And
I need
look
you to
at the
write
game
this for me.
and I see
What?
a bunch
And
of
put-
Write
games,
these words.
bad games.
What?
I heard the
the
reason
games I played.
iircade didn't get Shredder's Revenge
I
is
would
because
actually look
John
at
D
it
got
and
it
there's
from
some good games here.
Viacom.
But
put it in
never
all
feel like,
caps.
especially this
Wait,
past
all
week,
right. We'll say
that
that
we had
again.
that big game where it was like boom, like you're killing. Like
I heard the reason
So
iircade
getting
didn't get
games for that
Shredder's
selection
is because John
was
D
it
got it from
just
Viacom.
like these are the games that are available to us. And here's the $1 million
Hey,
question I want to ask you: when it came to
Do it in
maybe
the
some of
super
those
chat
other
for
bigger
$10,
games,
and I'll cash app
there's
you
a
back.
price tag attached. And
All
does
right,
that
hold on.
get difficult then? Because, like you mentioned,
So,
like you got to
so
have
I'm
some
gonna have to do
users
that
before
again.
They
Yeah.
would probably work into a deal with
That's
you.
All right, we'll
funny
do
as
super
hell.
Otherwise,
chat.
you would overpay. And how does that risk
Super
portfolio
chat.
work when you
Said
look at a
$10 super
license
chat?
that's going to cost you like
Yeah.
$2 million? Do you
Yeah.
even?
I
look at
did
that, or
$9.99.
Is that like
Okay.
just something out of the equation? How does that work?
All right.
Yeah, so no, I mean you'll look at that kind of stuff too, of course, but
I heard
again, it has to the cost,
reason.
the benefit has to outweigh the cost at that point, right?
Shredder's
If the
iircade
risk is too
didn't get
high,
Shredder's.
you're not going to recoup that loss, or are you going to sell
because
X amount of
John D
systems
got it
off of
from
this
Viacom.
to recoup at least some of the loss, right? And then you can make it up in other games later on too. You can think that way because it's a console. But yeah, sometimes it's just too high, especially when we have other projects going on which are eating up all the resources. It takes away a little bit from it too at the same time, right? So at least for the ones that we're looking to purchase specifically, right? The ones that cost a lot of money, that eats up those too. The other ones,
And I'm gonna
it's
put
more,
question
again,
mark.
it's just what I was just talking about more with, are the developers willing to
All right,
put it on the
Clint.
system? Yes or no, pretty much, right? So
Yeah.
it is what it is. Again,
I'm a
if you work
super
with
chat.
smaller indie developers,
a cash
a lot of
app you.
times, sometimes they say yes,
All
but
right.
when they say no, it's usually literally just because they're like,
All right,
I'm a
Sent.
hobbyist. I don't even do it full time. I don't have the time to do this. So like, I'd love to put it on your platform.
We
I
got
just
2 super chats
maybe
to
in the
read
future
for me.
need a lot of those. So that's like probably 90%.
oh,
of what
it
you
just
get, at
popped
least,
up.
if not more. So, and you get that with a lot of bigger publishers a lot of times too. So, but a lot of
And
the
it's
bigger
in all
publishers for the
caps just
arcade
for
space
you, Brad.
specifically, it's usually just,
Nice.
here's a game.
Oh, Nix
list
is
that
in
you
here
might be able
too.
to choose
Watch.
from.
Oh, my boy
A lot of
Nick.
times you pick your list, they still whittle it down even more
My
too,
boy
and then they tell your
Nix.
price after that too. So it's a little rougher. It gets a little rougher, but yeah,
Look,
and certain
fam.
games too, they just don't want to release, particularly at that time too, on different platforms because they might be doing like a remaster of it or something else. You say,
It's
so
up.
that
It's
happens
up.
as well too in our space.
So
Oh,
that's the classic games. Like House of the Dead would be a great example. Well, not really a great example because they
House of the
lost the
Remake.
original source code and then they did the remasters. So
Yeah, or like the Contra collection, right? The 30th anniversary. just
Brooklyn
came out
sure
this
been
past
quiet
year,
in that
2 years ago?
chat.
yeah.
I think a year ago.
See, I'm going to be funny because I'm going to be critical of Contra. I don't understand why anybody wants the arcade version of Contra. Like, just play the NES version. It's
Play
the
the
better
NES
version.
Kind of is a better version. Yeah, but if you have the nostalgia, right?
Oh,
is
he
a
gonna say
nostalgia-based space
typing in
too,
all
right?
caps is
So a lot of you guys are
disrespectful.
drawn to nostalgia, right? So you want those key
Who said
titles,
that?
Papa
which are
Brad.
always
so
different for everybody else.
He just
yeah.
said that?
So, some comments coming up here. Super chats.
Uh-oh.
You got $5 from King Creole. Buy Brad Water. I think that's a combination of Brad and Rainwater. Thank you very much for the super chat, King Creole.
Michael laughed.
Rocky, I don't know if we've talked about this one yet. Licenses would frown on a peripheral that fans and IRC know is being used to play
Thanks,
legal
Mike.
realms. Very ironic that Johnny
Appreciate you, Mike.
piracy. So again, and we
Wow.
talked about this earlier. I thank you very much for the super chat.
No.
Again, it's the thing. Anybody can
iircade
mod a
could have
system.
got the
It's like
Arc
at
System
games.
Works
Oh,
version
At
of
games
Contra.
basically have it open that you can bring
Oh
your own
my
mods
God.
to it. You know, some publishers, yeah, absolutely.
Hey,
they would look
salute.
and say, okay, well, that's probably not a company we're
Salute
going to work
Michael
with.
B.
Other people, are
Y'all,
just like,
y'all go show Michael B some love for reading that.
so
And we're not the ones doing anything to it too. So our board is staying closed. Our board is a console. It's closed.
Yeah.
Beyond that, Glenn's deck is
Hey,
not
what's up,
opening
Sacro?
board. It's connecting to it with controls, right? Controls
Welcome,
and
welcome,
peripherals, right? To
Sacro.
add the USB support for Lycon specifically, but other controls
Yes.
as well too.
It
Like the
should be.
steering wheel
It
and
shouldn't be
things like that
copyrighted
stuff.
this time.
Those
Yeah,
are
we
things that
shouldn't
are
get
being
no
added on with it too.
copyright
And then
strike.
even when he adds his board on, it's
Oh,
a
I know
blank board.
Brad
It's up
pissed
to you
off.
what you do with that
boy.
board.
Ooh.
We're not responsible for
I
any
know
of that
he
stuff,
is
so it's
hotter
up to
than
you
fish
entirely
grease.
what you put on that board.
Oh, well.
yeah.
And if you own those games, you can put them on there.
That I did that for
I
Sheeline.
found out the other day.
If you want to disrespect
I don't know
Sheeline.
how I missed it. When did Robbie Roto come to iIrcade, or was that like a
2 years
last minute
ago?
thing?
Oh, he missed that one.
Get out of town! Are you
For a long
serious?
time for free. Yeah. It's a free game. Because that was a
Look,
Warner
Canada
Brothers game,
Phil. Hey,
Yeah, well,
Winston,
I
look
know
at
the
Canada
history
Phil.
behind it. Like, it's on the
Butthole.
news as well.
He's
because I think
most
it's, like license free or whatever the hell it is. I can't remember exactly. But
Hey,
yeah,
Brad
I
about to
love
be
Robbie
pissed.
Roto.
He
It's
about to be
raw.
pissed
It's
with
a raw
Michael B.
fucking game. but it's
Brad,
fun.
you don't run
That's like
nothing,
the original
dude.
weird
Well,
hybrid
you don't
dig
run
that
anything,
kind
bro.
of mix, between the two kind of. I don't even know how to
Oh,
describe
okay.
it.
The first time I ever saw it was there was a video.
Oh, look.
Retro Ralph
Hey,
on his channel.
Mensa.
He showed it like an old clip. of
Brad
Eugene
wrote in the
Jarvis
chat,
at
here
this,
goes my
trade
membership
show,
of
and this was
25
supposed to be
months.
The next huge game. for
He's
Pac-Man.
leaving Michael B channel.
Replacing Pac-Man was the Adventures of
Who's
Robbie
that?
Roto.
This is some
Eugene
crazy fanatical shit, dude. That don't make no sense.
Jarvis. I don't know
He
if
really-
I understand.
Don't let the door hit you on your way out,
No problem,
It's
Brad.
Sacro.
fun, but it's rough. Like rough.
Yeah.
All right, Shinobi Gaming.
Is he really
says,
taking that
I like
personal?
console
Yeah.
fitness,
Yeah, he's an idiot.
reformed
Like,
block.
what's that guy
Cool.
that
Thank you very much for the super chat.
Don't let the door
Gotta
hit
catch
you on
them
your
all
way
here
out.
now.
you can't have no conversations
I
with
know,
this
it's
guy?
crazy.
Imagine how real life
I'll hit
family
you up.
conversations
Next time
is
we're
with them.
together,
It's
I'll
this
buy
way or
you,
the highway.
I'll
That's
buy you a beer.
abusive.
How's that sound?
That's weird.
I'd like to get a description about what the technical side of deploying a game on the platform looks like. Outside of just
Don't let
porting it
the
and
door
loading
hit
it
you
in
on the
the
way
control
out,
program.
Brad.
Is that something you can talk about, or is that,
Let me see.
How you get mad at somebody for reading a super chat? That's his job, Brad. Like that.
I can't get into that.
Somebody
Unfortunately,
buys a
no,
super
that's
chat,
too
you're
that's
supposed to
too much
read
on our
it.
back end systems for what we do. That's
I don't understand his
what our
point.
engineers have set up, right? So
Right.
Yeah. Rights Retrocade says I missed his from before. Rights Retrocade, I am sorry. I'm going to go back and.
Hey,
find it.
look, somebody said
I
these
swear to God, I
comments are
didn't
funny
intentionally
today.
do that,
LOL,
Chris. I'm
bye
gonna
bye,
find
Brad
it.
Water.
And if I didn't, if I
Listen.
don't, just
But
write it in the
that's
chat
what
below and I'll
happens
bring it
when
up.
you take
That's what happens
take
when
over a
you do it.
live
I
stream.
swear I read.
Like
Oh,
let
well,
Michael speak. Let two mics speak. That's it.
I should say too. Yeah.
Yeah.
This question too from Mr. Encoder. It requires the way that we deploy games too. It requires the account to be logged in on the system and it to have access to the server so that it can verify things as well too. To actually download to it, of course, like to download from the server itself. But beyond that,
Does he
you
not know
too,
what Mr.
it
Encoder
does
did? He's
check
got
as
to
well,
know.
going back up at the server. So there's other
He's
systems in
gotta
place too
know.
besides just like getting the game ready. If that's what you're asking.
But
Yeah.
never mind. I can't.
Oh,
Like my
I'm
life.
sorry. Yeah, I did have it up on screen, but I didn't ask.
Mm.
Rights Retrocade. Yeah, you're
This
right.
is interesting.
This was a question that came up earlier that I wanted to ask you a little bit later, but I'll ask it now. What is one of your biggest regrets from working
That's a good
with
question.
iircade? Like, if there's one thing that you're like, oh, I wish we could have done that different, what would it be?
Is he not going to read off your super chat? He's
Ah,
not gotten there yet.
I mean, I wish I got there before they spent a lot of the
I know, the
original
seed
investment
funding,
money because I would have
yeah.
made some different choices originally.
So look what I
It's probably
did
stages.
here.
After that, it's
Let's
kind of
see.
a little bit
Let's
of
see
an
who
uphill battle
re-
for me since joining.
Brad, I don't know why Brad mad.
Yeah,
I'm
there's a lot
sending a
of funding
super
was spent
chat.
in certain areas that I would not have spent it on.
So
back
look
then
at
too, but
Brooklyn. We
again,
are headed into the
hindsight's
wild,
20/20,
wild west with
right? So that's
arcade.
how
This
it
is
works.
going to be
So,
an
do you have
interesting
any like major
journey.
regrets? No, absolutely not. So again, we
This
set out.
dude,
Man, he needs
we
to
were
shut
just-
up.
You guys don't even remember, like, so even
He's a
before,
weird
like,
dude,
when we
man.
were first releasing this product too, back in December.
That's drugs, man.
2020 now.
look at my super chat.
So yeah, right. The first machines were hitting the market too, and for us, that was just like such like a stressful
come back.
time because we're like, I
back.
really
Come
want to
back.
right?
Come
We tested
back.
them to death
Come
at that
back.
point, right? Like well, for months at least at that point for me, I tested the new machines.
You in the
packaging,
studio
everything,
there,
right? You hope
Prince?
it all ships
I
properly.
just noticed.
everything can open.
Prince in the
Yeah.
studio.
But
Yeah.
yeah, for us, so like,
That's
it's
what's
been a
up.
wild ride because just getting past that.
Hey,
2019
Sacro,
was
you
a
know how we
major,
doing.
major
We calling a
milestone.
spade
Was
a
just
spade
like,
tonight.
I hope we don't have a ton of machines that just straight up don't work. And
Oof.
thank God they work.
Uh-oh, a
because
ton of
it's
machines
like
that
it's a
don't
quality
work.
product. We
What
trusted
the
it
heck?
enough, but man, you're still like,
I
there's always that
agree
thing in
with
the back of
Jason
your
M.
mind. You're just like, oh no, what if something happens? What if something major goes wrong? Because it's new. So
So,
what's up.
really quickly, before I get back to the super chats, there's a comment here from Rocky. I got to read out here. Do you remember the story of
Where did
was it
everybody go?
Heracles? Was it Heracles?
Oh, my bad. I fixed. I
that
did
his
the thing.
power
I got to
came from
figure
his
it out.
hair, and once he
Oh.
shaved his hair out,
I put it full
That's
screen,
right.
and I was like,
So
I'm trying
Samson's
to be
hair was his
cool.
power.
I never thought.
Do you believe that
Mister think he a
possibly
studio
the first
engineer now.
iircade started when you shaved your head?
iPad Studio.
Is it possible the company lost its?
I
steam
don't.
at
I
that
don't
point?
think. I think the curse might have started when I grew the mustache.
Circus Interstellar.
Oh
No, I-
shit!
I hope not.
I'm not even in the
Are
chat.
you saying
Okay.
that I'm responsible entirely solely because I shaved my face?
It's the mustache.
Yeah. You guys,
All right,
that
we get a
circuit
couple more
City
super
Setter
chats.
game
back to
will
the
be delivered
Why
to
in the video
you
did it say
on
servers
in the
would
morning
remain
time.
up?
So try to hurry
Announced
up
they go down
and
Wednesday.
get
I was
them
really hoping for
your
Retromania.
device ID.
I think
Okay.
that
They said they were going down in the video too.
Right after this is done, I'm
yeah,
gonna give it
so
to you.
there was a little bit of confusion
Is
about
that
this.
okay?
I remember you guys
If you
were pretty
can,
clear. You said
DM
stores going down on Wednesday, and
DM
servers we can't guarantee how long they'll be up. because
that
at some point
company.
they go out of our
They're
hands.
called Ettensoft.
Originally, I said the games
Okay.
were going down on
On
Wednesday.
Twitter?
I think Zhang said
Yeah.
the sales going down
Okay.
on Wednesday. The games are still open
Put
for
it
Friday,
in the
but then I
chat.
corrected again. So no, the game store itself to actually purchase games and everything will go down on Wednesday night, because I actually am the one who does all of that stuff. So I said 7 p.m. That's when I'm going to do it. It's about then too, and then I have to stay up all night and do that.
I have a bad feeling when
but
he does it,
your
man.
access to your accounts themselves on that server, that
White
isn't at
City
least
for
until
people.
Friday at a minimum.
Mm.
If it stays up a month past that, maybe if it stays up 2 months past that, who knows?
Basically,
If it
what
stays
he's
up a day past
saying
that, or it goes
is,
down right
I'm not
then,
going to pay
it's
the
good. But
bill, and
Friday
then
is
we'll see
really
where it goes from
your
there. That's
day that
pretty
you want
shitty.
everything to be secured on your system and installed.
Mhm.
Beyond that, it's just a toss up, because we honestly don't know beyond that, because it's not in our control at that point.
If he's
It's
really
not
filing
in
for
our hands.
bankruptcy, that
So we're
it
not the
should be
ones who will be
public
shutting those
notice or
servers,
some
so
crap, right?
it could be
Like,
AWS. Just
I might be
like,
able to
hey,
look it up, because if it's not up there, then he's lying.
Yeah, that could be it. Or it could be the trustees saying, "We'll pull the cord now." We don't really know. So
There's a lot of people
I
in the
think they
community
realized I was
who
digging too
don't
much,
know
and they had to go
ask
out.
questions like,
That's my
why
personal
didn't you
opinion.
just sell the server to
Yeah.
Glenn and
Doesn't
Too
work
much
that
shit
way.
was out there.
No.
Unfortunately, it just doesn't work that way. Yeah, the way that like the assets and things are dealt with, it just you can't just.
So
like,
now
piece
that he's
anything.
filing for bankruptcy,
And,
how's
yeah,
fucking Rainwater
trustees
going
know
to sit there and say
the
that
whole-
everything was
line
good to
shit.
go, and they
It's
just
like
found
whatever.
out a couple
So
days ago that they got to
Yeah,
file
like
for
I said, the
bankruptcy? That don't
game
make
sales
no
money
damn
and things
sense.
right now that we're making.
You know
One,
you're
they
going
do pay that out
bankrupt,
to
motherfucker.
developers and stuff too. But beyond that too, the rest of the money.
I just found
after
out
that,
yesterday
too,
we got to go
the profits
bankrupt,
is taken to
guys.
the company.
I had no
We
clue
don't
this
say
was
that. No,
coming.
we don't. It doesn't like we can't
Man,
pocket that. We can't
they
just
knew.
take all this money
Yeah.
and do that. No,
Yeah,
that'd be
but-
nice. That'd be a nice going away severance pay for me, but no, it's not gonna happen.
You heard that?
Yeah, no.
Hey,
Yeah,
Severance.
I missed
and,
it. I had to
would
go.
imagine
I'm
that
He said it'll be a
What
nice
the,
going away severance pay for
even-
me, but it's not
even
going to happen.
the-
It's happening because he wouldn't be
people are thinking,
fucking
like, oh,
on
Thanks,
the
J.
internet
Crow.
like this. He's got a
That's it, we're going
severance.
into bankruptcy. But again, you mentioned
He said he's not getting.
He'll be a lot angrier than this if he was getting screwed over, and he's not getting
So
screwed.
basically, like,
I think he's
what can
getting a nice
describe it?
payout.
Wouldn't you be pissed?
Yeah, like
Would you be on the
ultimately,
fucking
I mean,
YouTube
ultimately,
wasting your
Johnson
fucking
videos, too,
time?
He does make that.
No, I would be on a
Hell
rant.
no.
Board itself too.
Yeah,
will
you'd be
invest
pissed.
in it.
Yeah,
So if
and
they
that's
don't
not
have
happening.
That initial investor to line up for the series funding, then it's still on us to find that. And that's what we were doing for a while now, right? So, and things were looking good, and then at the very last minute here, it's just gone. So, and without
Why they
that,
keep saying last minute though?
It's
that-
not
that
last
investor
minute. He's a
particularly,
liar.
or the other deal that we were working on
Man.
essentially too. Without that, there's not funding for it. So the funding itself that we were to receive at that point would have kept us going for, that's a good runway. That's at least a year or two's worth of runway. And then from there you can grow it, right? Because we're at a point where we could start growing. But as a startup, a 3-year marker is like you reach profitability then, or like
No, what
the
happened?
console and
You
games
heard the
or
3-year marker, right? It's
Hey,
called
games
not
and a
paying your
console too.
fucking taxes.
These are
for 3
big
fucking
ticket
years,
items.
you idiot.
These systems cost a lot of money.
It has nothing to do with the
So you
funding.
have
They
to
were
put all that
being
into the
voided,
account
and then
too.
the
So really
company
doesn't
Alright.
really
look at them. They
get
go,
really into
"You
the
owe us
profitability
fucking
of
like
that. So we were
$100
just about
grand
at the cusp
in
to
state
really start
taxes. You
making
fucked
those
up,
big
dude."
strides that we were wanting to do,
Idiot.
and that's what we were starting to gear up for. That's what we've been planning for this entire past year now, honestly. So it sucks to put in all this work and all this time too. I mean, I've had a lot of sleepless nights as well as our
Look what I
engineering team and
said.
stuff, too,
What
that
about the
we just don't get to see the
layoffs?
fruits of our labor for, unfortunately. But it's how it goes. But yeah, so it's up to the
Kate
board,
was
but it's
gone
also
in
up to-
October.
to us ultimately as well too. But yeah,
What-
John
What contributed to Liv and Kate layoffs?
ultimately,
Kate was gone in October.
So yeah, he would have recommended
Yeah.
it, but at the same time, it's not like it was just.
you
out
can't just
there.
keep going forever. Yeah.
Somebody said, do you regret wearing that?
All right,
safety
so
tank top?
we got
Oh
some more
my
here.
God.
I know you're not going to be able to answer this one. King Creole 999 super chat. I heard the reason iircade didn't get Shredder's Revenge is because
Not
John
even
D got it
close.
from you.
not even
Really?
close to being true. No.
Thank you very
No.
much for the super chat, King Creole.
We were in a better position to get it than them, in fairness. And beyond that,
It's
Uh-oh.
true,
there's
guys.
a reason that you haven't seen it
It's
anywhere
true.
else, like outside of the consoles, right? So
It's
there's
true.
a reason because there's a major corporation that is doing some stuff. with
That's
the
my
collection,
opinion.
right?
It's
So-
true.
And
Yeah.
will they actually bring that out? I don't honestly know, but yeah. So
Even if that rumor was true, I didn't really see the benefit of Arcade 1-Up doing Shredder's Revenge. To me,
Not
like it
really.
didn't make sense. So,
No.
like,
You-
I guess they
that
wanted
That
to
makes no
make
sense. Yes.
Denmark way
It's like
things
the
were
hottest
I mean,
game.
They're selling a dedicated.
They have a
branded,
relationship with Playdigious
you know,
that does
Turtles cabinet.
Shredder's
So
Revenge,
all
and they
people
do
are always like, oh, why not
um,
put Sunset
Streets
Riders
of
on it? Why
Rage
not put
and
this?
Dead
Yeah.
And
Cells.
this is where the other complication
Because it's not going to just be It's gonna be
then
like, oh
they've
my
gotta go
god, like
around
that's a big
and,
deal if that's
go
true.
back to Nickelodeon, go back to like the owner, and then say, "Would you mind another IP
we put
being
this
attached to your IP?" And they're like, "No, we only want Turtles
exactly.
games."
Yeah, that's how that works sometimes
Uh,
too. Again, some of these
what?
companies just don't play nice together sometimes. That's why you won't see certain games on certain systems together. So
Yeah, I like it.
He's got to
Just
be
catching
embarrassed
up
because
on a
he
couple
knows
here
these
now,
truths
and
are
thank you
coming
for
out.
being
Like
so
we
open
know
and willing to
it's
answer
true.
everything, Michael. I really appreciate it. Mystery Encoder, he always does this. He gave me a really hard time one time, an awesome time, but a hard time. $2 to contribute to the Michael S. Beer Fund. There we go. Thank you very much, Mystery
I didn't
Encoder.
get my
When we
beer
went to
case
Chicago,
that I
I don't know if you
won.
saw it, but they actually
I never
found
Oh
it
shit,
received
now.
you did. Hey, wait a
That's the
minute.
super chat. Where's my beer
Motherfucker.
case that I won?
We had no idea we didn't
God,
find it. We were really
there's. I won a prize to
that's
get this
right. I remember
beer
watching
kit,
the stream a little
and I
bit.
never
Yeah,
got it.
When did you win that?
They were
I
doing
don't
it
know what he's saying
anyway,
here.
and
Thanks,
I
Mike, S,
won
for
one
all
of the
you've done.
giveaways.
Go
It was
back
like a
to
couple of beer
come back to
kits,
California.
Come back to California.
Yeah,
and
because I know
I
Casey's
sent
out
information
on the LA
to
area too, so he came to our event. When we
whoever
went
was
there.
in charge of
Yeah, Beacon was there. To die food.
their contacts,
Was
Yeah,
there.
Bobby.
and they said they were looking to it, and I
Yeah,
forgot
I
all
know.
about it.
I'll try to see you guys again. So.
Damn.
I don't know. Is Casey down in? I'm not gonna dox Casey
Oh,
right
well.
now. Though, right now.
Yeah, don't
But
dox
you know what's
Casey.
funny is he says that's not true, but then when it
yeah.
happens, what he's gonna
Here's
say?
another one you probably won't be able to answer. What game?
Or if it
We
happens,
talked about it.
you
Is
know,
getting
like
that final update.
see
Okay,
what's
okay.
getting.
Oh my god.
He said he didn't want to
Can you
dox
say?
him.
Jeez, my brain. I'm so sorry. What did we just release for free? The final game now.
Heavy Metal Titans?
Titans.
Oh, okay. Well,
There's an
I
update for Heavy
expected
Metal
that. Yeah.
Titans. That's going to be the final
Yeah.
update.
So Renzo's working on it too. I hope
Yeah.
I didn't spoil Renzo's thing too. It's
Oh,
I mean, he's just
absolutely.
doing different additives and fixes after he watched a lot of people playing and stuff. He wants to add different stuff to the game. So yeah, I told him until Wednesday I can update the game. So that's
Yeah.
it. Because and I know
Well,
you
that's
guys want
good.
all this other stuff too. I have other developers who reached out to me recently too, and we said we had to say no to a couple other games going on the system last minute. There's just no time. I have all this other stuff to do beyond just being on the show right now. I'm gonna go back to work. after this
Dude,
week,
there is
so
a lot
Get
of
back to
takes
work. What
time to learn
work?
guys who actually
Oh.
puts all this stuff
You're-
directly on the
you have-
system
what
that takes
job?
time for each individual game.
Did he just say he's getting
Set it
back
all
to
up on the
work?
back end, do all this stuff. So like it's a lot of work for me. So unfortunately, we just can't. I can't say yes to everything. So
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
I'd
I
love to,
hear
I just
you.
I
but
can't. There's not enough time in the day.
Thank
This
you very much,
motherfucker
Tony
said
C. We've
it
also
wouldn't
got
have they
Retrocade.
matter about
You
Shredder's
didn't have to write
Revenge.
another
They
super chat, brother. I was
they
happy
would
to
have
answer your
sold
question.
up.
I'm sorry
What
I
the
missed the
fuck?
first time. Thank you very much. All right, just catch
Rainwater said that they were supposed to get Shredder's Revenge 2 years
Ah.
ago or some bullshit. Remember that?
Do you regret wearing that sexy
No,
little tank
Streets
top
of
on stream?
Rage,
You shouldn't.
he
That
said.
was
Streets of Rage
glorious.
4, you're right. It was
Yep.
Streets of Rage
I'll
4.
never-
But
I
still,
would've-
like,
I
what the
should have won.
fuck?
Man,
Who's telling him this bullshit?
There
Yeah.
we go. Console
If it was even
fanboy.
true, he's just making it up, I think.
Michael S., can you share thoughts on Vanilla Beast's post surrounding his disappointment for being stiffed and ignored? Can you make a statement? I know that one's a tough one because you guys had worked out a plan with Vanilla
Console
Beast.
fanboys,
they were
bro.
It's
doing
just, it's a good,
It's a good
and,
question.
you
It
know,
may
they
be
were kinda
tough, but
caught
it's a
off
real
guard
question.
because,
He gotta
they
answer it.
didn't hear that you had gone out originally. So I
don't know
don't
what
know
post-
if you can say
I
about
don't know what
that. or-
post he's talking about, but no. We're still
Really?
guys. Yes.
Did you hear that?
Things,
What?
Is
That's
this still
like-
posted up in the community right
I
now?
couldn't respond to a couple developers.
It's in the
for a little while
community.
with questions they had because
He
for a couple
deleted
weeks
it. He
because
knows
we
what
didn't
he's
know,
talking about.
and because we're advised not to, right? So like we also have a legal team that advises me to do things. So I have higher ups again who say you can't tell people this.
Yeah.
So at that point, there's no information, so I can't really do anything.
Even
Oh,
though
watch
it's
this.
Vanilla
Free
Beast was
cabinets?
one that we took. It sucks because like they had the Kickstarter going. We were doing the machines with them, so it was really cool. We were super
Look at
stoked for
this.
that too. We were super stoked for the game. But unfortunately, the cabinets they had on order for Kickstarter. Part of that money, of course, was coming to us to pay for the actual machines themselves too. But
You
beyond
know,
that,
I
the
wonder
rest
if
of that
the
money was set aside, but the
retro
rest was
thingy's in
donor.
here.
They're actually paying back their development money right now too. So we're in the
Okay.
middle of that stuff. So yeah. So we're gonna help those guys out at least. But beyond that, I don't know.
He's
I don't know what
lying.
he's talking about because I haven't seen. I've gotten so many things
I know.
in socials the past week now, honestly, the past
Yeah.
couple of days. So it's like
There's
I'm
only
all over
one
the place.
admin running the show.
yeah, so it's unfortunate you guys don't
It's
get on the
him.
system too. It sucks, but at least you guys, pick it up on Steam, play it on your Legends or something if you want.
Oh, he big up in the legends.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
shoot.
And
You know what? I'm gonna
I
get
think,
my copy
it's
for
one of
free.
those things that like you guys have so much going on here now, and everybody's like, "How come you didn't?"
Space
answer this
Invaders
person?
is
How come you didn't answer this
unbelievably
person?"
amazing. It's
Guys,
like having
I've got
a
like over
real
100 plus notifications right now that are like
Yeah.
pinged from the groups
That's
from like the community. Social feeds and stuff
weird.
from me on my Facebook that, and
Mm.
I don't even like being on Facebook.
How does the
honestly.
game
I've
dictate
got that.
how
I've got my
cabinet
emails. I've
is?
got, I've got my actual messages at work.
Like
It's-
if it's quality
yeah,
or not?
it's
It's
wild
like
now. I'm just going through all that. So
I have a real
All right,
cabinet
so
because
I want to get a couple
you
things
know, but
done
if it
before I
doesn't
go
have
back to
anything
super
good,
chats.
that doesn't
So
change
we
the
talked
fact.
about that.
Like,
Got more super chats.
Oh yeah,
Look, it's
Bunch
super
of
chats
Oh,
coming in.
hey, hey, Rex are talking about
bunch of stuff
slave.
coming in.
What do you mean, Rex?
Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate
where
it.
did you say that?
Everybody,
it's something.
you're awesome. Thank you very much.
He
I
said
can't
something
say
being
thank you
slave to
enough.
the
Michael,
super chat.
On Juneteenth?
I'm trying to remember everything we
Oh
talked about. I
shit!
got really distracted by a lot of this stuff coming
I
in.
would have said no shit like that.
One of the things I wanted to talk
Rex
about
just don't pay
was
his bills and
early
taxes.
in the development.
He got a lot to talk about.
John had an idea for this console. So when I first saw the iArcade, I remember looking at it and I didn't know where it fit in the home arcade space.
Vanilla Beast needs to jump on this damn
this
thing.
is going to be a home
Somebody
arcade.
Wouldn't that be hilarious?
If you
Prince probably got it.
But it's not technically.
If you I think they're called Vanillaware. But if you tweet them, they're always on there.
We were lucky enough that
if you tweet their DM, they'll hop on.
And he kept talking about when you see it, you'll understand. And
so
originally we couldn't buy these in Canada. There was no access.
Twitter.
So lucky enough, I got
Twitter
involved with you guys at PR Media. You know, obviously Colin and
okay. So I type in vanilla.
Scott.
Oh no, wait.
Hold on.
Scott.
Sorry.
That's right.
Colin and Scott. Yeah.
Anyways, I think it's
guys.
retro
And,
knockout.
they were like, hey, we're gonna give you
something.
A demo
It's
unit.
retro
And
knockout.
a lot of people are like
Vanillaware.
weird about.
I'm gonna tell him he called him a liar.
Oh, you're gonna like it because it's a demo.
Because he did.
You have no idea. It doesn't work that way,
bro.
So I don't think anything we've ever
Rocky's the hero. Look at that. Is it true that less than 4,000 total sold?
Yeah,
this is according to the bill ladies.
There's no promises, agreement, or anything like that.
Uh-oh.
Just sent it out.
Rocky
so I remember
on it.
playing it, and you know, I played some of the classic arcade games, and I was
You
critical.
said DM them
because John, and I don't know if you were around for this, came out with the idea that he wanted everything to look kind of old.
So no, come on.
Filter on the retro games. Oh, that drove me nuts. I was like, that should be an option. But what I was impressed with, which I didn't.
Nikki Z said, "Can we talk about the lack of listening to all community members' feedback and the bashing of people?"
Some of the demo games I got, like Riptide Renegade, and then I got Dead Effect, and I was like, I didn't get it at first, and I was like, okay, I get it. Like,
all right, so vanilla
and stuff like that. So looking at that original lineup and looking at what they were doing, I mean,
I'm on there now
from the start. The game lineup.
I don't think I can.
How would you have really
message them? It just
says
you
followed the page.
Console into this
I gotta follow them. Okay, click follow. All right, it says
more
following, and then there's a
coming out of it.
a
I really
bell
like the modern stuff.
beside it.
Envelope.
You had fans that wanted everything on this thing, and it was so hard to meet them. So, how would you have done this from a blue sky approach?
The envelope.
What games would you have brought up?
Sure. I mean, the big stress is
turn off repeat, share profile, copy links.
I mean, right out the gate,
mute,
too, of course. And
block.
again,
Then I see a bell.
You live and you learn.
Damn.
You know, that's how it goes.
They won't let me.
Me saying things now is not me saying things 3 years ago. 100%.
But
I mean,
let
really, I would
me
have taken a lot of the original funding and
hit
spent
replies.
less on
No,
you do
tweets.
spend a lot of marketing on a new product like this.
All right, let me just see. Vanilla Beast at
heavy burden.
Michael.
But beyond that, I would have taken, you know, the
ball
machine.
back.
The gold machine would have been nice too, you know, with the actual marquee and stuff too. Would have designed a little bit differently too. But yeah, beyond that, I probably would have released with the gold. But beyond that, I would have released with a smaller lineup of games that were specifically just major titles and just taken all the funding.
iArcade.
That first and foremost, before anything else. After that, of course, the interface was never my cup of tea. As much as it works, though, too, that's always our thing that people always say, and you say it all the time too. Even that it works really well. It's just it looks bad, so and that's okay. You know, originally when we launched the product, we had to get it out.
You are a liar, and
rushed to market, but
he
like
doesn't know what
right. There's always flaws. There's always
talking
things that you have to fix over time.
about.
That, like you just got to get it out there at one point, or it's going to burning through cash. So it's a big ticket item, right? Again, it's a lot for manufactured stuff. So at that point, right? So and things like, I mean, I would have manufactured probably less Electromania units, a lot of Electromania units at the end too. But we manufactured a lot of them because they were hot seller, right? So that's how it goes. But honestly, things that I would have done more so, I would have made a black cabinet as the standard. I wouldn't have had any other skins. I would have had a black
Michael
added skins on.
Damn, I wish I knew his handle.
For console,
Michael B's handle.
I don't. That was my honestly. That's
Michael B, the game genie.
My biggest regret is never having like a nice, just neutral game line of cabs that was just pristine, really cool to look at. Or that you could change the side artwork, really. So that's something we had talked about too. That like we might have done in the future.
I'll just type it in on
wasn't
Michael
there at the time.
be
So,
the
yeah.
game
So,
genies.
really, it would have just been coming down to, you know, I probably would have,
live
if we
right
could have even to. Again, this might have
now.
not even been an option
He's
3 years ago.
gaslighting.
And the home arcade scene was sort of new at that time too, when we were coming out too, pre-COVID times, right? Even like, or during COVID times, right? It was new to the licensors and publishers as well too. Of a lot of these arcade games, they weren't used to people really coming to them en masse. And now there's more companies than just the 3 that you guys talked about. There's even more, right? So they can demand different prices and stuff now too, of course, is how that works, right? Supply and demand.
I got to run, but
so I don't really know back then if the licensing was an issue.
All right, my brother.
God bless. Have a good evening.
But that's what I would have done. Is I would have gotten different titles. I would have gotten really less titles and not launched with. Or
I mean, he's making some good points, Mensa, but he should have did this months ago.
We started originally technically with 30, but we had like 200 announced by that point, right?
Yeah.
But I probably would have announced 20 or 30. And then just built from there essentially, and
well, I mean, but why say that now?
Hindsight's 2020. That's how it goes. So,
What's he saying? I missed it.
Yeah, of course.
He's saying that he wouldn't have released so many skins. He would have just had a black cabinet, and you could skin it yourself with whatever.
We're also
see, that's the fun part.
All the time.
Him and his little friend insulted me. I said that. I said, why don't you bring out vinyl?
We really want to play our games on a small user base.
And they're like, that's not John's vision. Until we have his quality's super good, and we should jizz all over it.
You're stuck in this loop, right?
He's God.
Okay.
I offered that. They said it was bad. It was a bad choice.
And that's what we've had to do for 3 years.
Doing skins that we can do ourselves was a bad idea.
So here's another question. iircade is known for having these like hidden gems, these unfound like great games, whether it be retro, modern. What's probably one of your favorite games?
Rocky said it wasn't in Rainwater and Dubs that encouraged skin caps.
I mean,
that's true.
Not saying to buy it now. I mean, if they have they should spend more time.
He knows what I'm saying.
Really
that's true.
Because
Dubs encouraged
because that was just a licensing.
The Dragons,
but they're the ones who attacked me over it. And when I said I talked about it should be black. Like the Double Dragons one,
and they said,
the Double Dragons black
it should have all been that. And then
IREM was like,
you do your own skins,
and then the vinyl alone would have sold like
IREM is probably
imagine
any
if
IREM game
vinyl for like
on the system,
the actual
100%
premium price of vinyl. People would do it.
Arcade games, they're all bangers. They should be AAA titles. They just, they came out at a different time for the arcade heyday, honestly, too. They just didn't have the right marketing, the right funding behind them, maybe back then. But the games that IREM makes, every single IREM game, In the Hunt, R-Type, of course, and we have R-Type Leo, that whole series. Moon Patrol, of course, started it all off for them, too. Beyond that, too, Ninja Baseball Batman's IREM game, too. So the IREM games, the Total Plan games would be the other ones, too, if you can't get them on other systems. Total Plan just makes fantastic. If you like shmups, if you like shoot 'em ups, Total Plan shooters are always amazing.
Anything's possible.
And, of course, like Truxton's in that mix.
But Bankruptcy doesn't mean to end up trumping. He's
the original Truxton.
I
like beating my head against
John can never stay away from this type of stuff.
Two's a little easier, but I like Truxton 1. Otherwise, Rage of the Dragons is a very rare title that you'll probably not see anywhere else too. So Rage of the Dragons is another one. If you like fighters, I would say that's probably a good
Rage
one.
Rage of the Dragons,
especially 2. That's like a very rare title that I'm like super stoked that we got that one as well too, because that game it's good. It's a good fighter. It's way better against an opponent than the computer. It's a real person you can probably beat. We've gotten through the game against the computer, but it's hard. But so those are probably my big ones.
Everybody asking about the Sega.
If you're looking for something that you've missed, those are all kind of hidden gems that are just really, really good arcade. If you like arcade games, you will enjoy every single one of those games, 100%, like hands down.
Yeah. What about modern games, like the indie games that you brought in? Like, what is the one that you're really, really super proud of?
Of course, Donut Dodo is the thing that people always talk about. And it was so funny when we released Donut Dodo, and people were like, "What the hell is even this?" And then it's like everybody's favorite game. We're like, because it's a good game, guys.
It is really good.
Game. So I'm glad Donut Dodo took off, and it's been successful on other systems now too. I'm glad they brought it to like the Atari VCS and stuff too. I'm super stoked.
Evercade just had it as their game of the month last month.
Yeah, that's right, because they're doing their indie thing too. Their indie cartridge 2 or whatever it's called. I forget what it's called, but
I can't remember.
Yeah,
so much news that goes on.
Yeah, and Pixel's an amazing developer too. The dude who does those games is amazing. So fantastic designer in general too. He's coming from AAA as well. By the way.
I'm going to get to the super chat questions in a second, guys. Just personal questions here I want.
But so Donut Dodo, of course, Galacticon, of course, is up there too. Other really ones that people might have missed over, of course, Oddmar is.
Everybody loves Oddmar.
Oddmar is great, but it's not necessarily my favorite game in the system. But Oddmar is up there. Probably Riptide would be my third in there as well too.
Love
Riptide's just so
Riptide.
good, and
Yeah.
they did so good with the online for that game as well too. It's so crisp and smooth. That game will be online, by the way, because that's their servers. That's not our servers. So
Yeah.
Riptide GP Renegade will be online, available for 8-player online play forever, until they take down their own servers. Honestly, really, which will never happen. So yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
Riptide. If I'm going to choose the top 3, it's those 3.
So really quickly, Hassan Price, can you answer some random non-super chat questions? Yes, I just did. Just trying to catch up here, man. So going down here, this is another one I wanted to talk about. So good timing on this one right here. $2 super chat. Why did mutant football never happen? We already know the story with that. So basically, what happened was there was just some kind of glitch in the system from porting it over. And from what I remember, it was on them that they would have to fix it in order for you guys to get it to work on your system, and they couldn't do it or whatever like that.
We
right?
would have had to talk to Google on that one in order to get it running properly for performance. Yeah, which was clearly like not something that we have a contact with. So
yeah. So the reason why I did want to bring that up,
Watch this.
It's good timing, but I do want to get through some of these super chats. I've been leaving them off, and people are asking these questions, and just catch up on these, and then I'm going to go back to that. Vaisal, awesome community member. Question from Michael Zvebeck. How are you doing personally? Are you going to be okay? Do you have a Patreon or anything for creators? Thank you for all you have done. Michael's going to be fine. He's like the #1 free agent in the home arcade and gaming space. Believe me.
We'll see if I stay in this space specifically or if I go back to AAA, but yeah, we'll see.
Oh, I'm going to do everything I can to make him stay in this space.
I'm going to do everything I can to.
So we also have one from Mystery Encoder here. Is there any possibility down the line that the company gets bought back out from bankruptcy by John or yourself or another person company and makes a comeback? So this is an interesting one because I heard about something called a start-stop that companies can do. So is this a possibility? You can't answer that.
This one's kind of, well, no, it's not. I can't. It's just beyond me, honestly. This is my first time dealing with this kind of stuff too, so I'm still learning a lot. I believe that is possible. That's sort of what they do. They try to sell off the assets again, which would essentially be kind of that, right? Could they restart it again like that?
Rocky's a trip.
You could try, but like, you'd probably honestly be better off just building an entire system. But I don't know. You know, if somebody's looking to foot the bill, you know, that's a possibility, I guess. But I honestly don't know.
Put in the chat.
Yeah.
King Creole and Bill
so,
McLaughlin
I don't know.
buying arcade.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely not. I am not rich in any of this. That comes from our farm. I grew up poor, so I'm not wealthy in any sense, right? I do well, but
non-Nintendo emulation YouTuber RGT85 is here. $5 super chat. You guys obviously had some relationship with Sega. You have some select games on there. Did something happen with that, or was that just Sega holding back?
No,
I know the answer to this.
It's
money.
a little bit of them holding back, but it's money mostly. Sega's they're just an expensive license. They're a very expensive license. They're Sega.
Yeah.
You know, that's
what
it is. They already named
yeah, they've got the history. They can afford to be. And like, it was so exciting when you guys first got those first couple Sega games. I mean, like Space Harrier, which one is it? Shadow Dancer, right?
Dancer, yeah.
I was trying to remember which Shinobi. Yeah. Well, it's not really Shinobi 2. It's Shadow Dancer.
It's Shinobi 2. It's Shadow Dancer, the Secret of Shinobi is really what it's called. It's the direct sequel to Shinobi. Yeah. They wouldn't give a Shinobi 1 though, I heard in the original deal. Unfortunately. Yeah, it's a very different game than the first one. Yes, 100%. It's like Castlevania and Haunted Castle. Very two different games.
Oh, Haunted Castle's horrible. So, actually, I made a video a long time ago on talking about arcade ports that were actually better on the NES. Yeah. But I think Castlevania on the NES happened before Haunted Castle, if I'm not mistaken. So it was almost like a reverse port. So, yeah. Anyways, so thank you very much, RGT85. I think we all saw that.
Look at his face.
Like, oh man,
you see my shit, right?
Sega games. I think that's one of the ones that came up that we were just like,
you see my shit.
I really wish more Sega games came up.
I wish that too. You know, it's not, we were never trying to limit the games in the system, so it's just there's always complexities. So
I'm going to throw a salvo out here now. Thank you very much, Sean. So the Sega relationship, the .emu relationship. Streets of Rage 4 is right there. Did you guys ever, like, I know you can't talk about games, but I mean, you're not business.
It's again, that's up to Sega. Does it run on the iircade? 100%. I've already played it on my machine. But but beyond that, that's just a licensing thing too. And again, it's inexpensive. So
Yeah. We were all really hoping for Streets of Rage 4, and
I mean, so were we. We really were. And Streets of Rage 2 is one of my favorite games on Genesis. So
Yeah.
like, I grew up with a Genesis in the household. So like, that's
Time
I'm
for the
gonna
truth.
say something sacrilegious here now. I'm a Streets of Rage 1 man. Like Streets of Rage 2 is good,
fine.
but Streets of Rage 1 is the OG. Streets of Rage 1 is the better
Yeah,
game in my
Here's
opinion.
the thing: if we put Streets of Rage 2, especially on our platform ever, right? We would have gotten such shit for it because it's a console game and not an arcade game.
I know.
Right.
And people would have been like,
He's
"Why
right
can't
about
console
it.
games on the arcade?" We're like,
Yeah, he's right.
I would have been pissed.
But
I would have been pissed.
Technically,
I would've
Streets of Rage
commented on that
2
too.
is an arcade game because Sega actually brought their I forget what it's called, the Sega. I want to say it's the Sega Super System, but there was an arcade port of Streets of Rage 2. It's the console game, but it was in the arcade.
It's fair. It's fair.
Yeah.
I'll count it.
All right, so we're caught up with the super chats now.
Okay.
Thank God, but that's so we can get to some of the other stuff. So now that you guys are moving on, John threw out the big project you guys were working on, the seamless gaming. So from my mind, I thought this was a really good idea from the perspective of so easy to increase your user base at that point. There's no upfront cost for the system.
Yeah.
And plus people that already have the system can utilize it.
Mhm.
So was that was the big one. That was the one you guys were going to move to, and that would have helped get more games. That was the
Of course,
concept.
yeah.
around it. Was
It would have all fed into
increase-
the same company. Yeah. So, because and again, that expands your user base by a much higher margin, very, very fast with that. So that was the goal with that essentially.
Yeah.
So, because from there, getting games is a much different story. Right?
He said you missed my super
Yeah,
chat, but
there
I
was a
forget
super
you.
chat here from Console Fanboy I missed because I wanted to reword it a little bit. And I might have done it. So here we go. And I know that you're not going to be able to talk about. You can't really talk about licenses. You can't talk about. You can please talk about the major games you were promising to release. Doesn't matter anymore. Can you talk about one of them? I don't.
I
don't
still
think you
can't though
can.
because they're still on NDA.
Because he's lying and there was never one to release.
We can't do that.
I
Thank
mean,
you so
Mystery
much for the
Coder
super
just
chats.
put out
I
this
knew he was
shit.
going to say
Like,
that. I wanted
Yeah.
to change it to
there
say,
ain't nothing.
what game would you like to bring? If you could bring, I am going to ask you that. Blue Sky scenario.
I can
If-
answer.
Blue Sky scenario. If you had as much
Zero
money
Redo said,
and,
why
had
do you
ability
charge
to bring it
1,000
in
for
here,
Gold Cap?
what are some of the biggest games, not just arcade, but also games that are, whether they be indie or games that are like console and PC games that would work well on an arcade console? What are some of the ones you would have loved to have worked with and brought to the iArcade?
I mean, Shredder's.
This
would've been
idiot
great.
said
We were
long live
talking about that
multi-cades.
already.
Yeah.
That would have been like during this with the same release date. I always hated when we get a later release date. And I was like, man, it's not, if you're 2 months later, I'm like, we've already missed the boat at that point, But
So
yeah,
fuck
that
the
would've been a big
iArcade,
one.
right? And now long live multi-cades.
Shovel Knight was a fun one that I really
Yeah.
wanted for a while too. We tried with Shovel Knight for a while. Shovel Knight, I don't know, a lot of people wanted Hollow Knight too, but it was okay on Hollow Knight. Other games, I don't know, man. There's just so many games now. I'm trying to think. Now I'm like blanking.
I know,
on
We
that
talking
stuff,
about
right?
RIP, all his one-ups.
I'm trying to pick like one more even too. Let me go back to like an arcade game. Let me see. I would have liked Cadillacs and Dinosaurs actually was a big one. that I wanted.
Yes.
Caddies and Dinos. Because that would have been fun for online playing leaderboard and stuff.
Yeah.
I really wanted that game too. That was another one. Is there one more? I don't know. I'll think on that. I'll think of that. There's a lot of games.
I've got a friend of mine that is the biggest Cadillacs and Dinosaurs fan in the world. Like, he keeps talking about it. He wants it to happen. And if I'm not mistaken, unfortunately, there's a Cadillacs and Dinosaurs is based off some kind of other IP, like there's a cartoon,
Fundable.
comic book, or
It's
something
something like that.
Oh,
I
you
think.
see it?
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's not easy. It's not like it's just Capcom. It was Capcom who made Cadillacs and Dinosaurs.
That's Capcom. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not as easy as just talking to Capcom because then you have the party on the outside as well. So I remember when I went to Galloping Ghosts, that was one of the arcades I intentionally looked for just so I can send him a picture that I got to play it. So
Well,
yeah,
that's like
Cadillacs and Dinosaurs.
Yeah,
would
like
go
Ninja
for
Games
it.
with Batman, like the character rights were different than the actual game rights and stuff. So we
Yeah.
had to pay different things for that. Yeah. So that's how that works sometimes too. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird in those scenarios, right? When you're just like, it's just the game, right?
Yeah.
Or a game like Lethal Enforcers.
Yeah.
Those are like real actors and stuff in there too. And I think they would have to pay royalties and stuff to them if you license that game. it's something like that. So like that's probably like a weird license as well too, or like maybe you could edit it potentially, but would they let you edit all the faces in the game? That's also that'd be up to Konami at that point, right? But yeah,
it's one of the challenges that Arcade 1-Up deals with, because they can go out and they can get these licenses, like they got an then you can't get all the players, so you got to do this
Follow me on
weird,
YouTube.
like workaround and stuff like that. And then you got people saying, well, it's not arcade accurate. So like,
it's true,
but it's kind of as best as you're gonna get.
I mean, it'd be one thing if I'm lying.
It's disturbing.
Like, well, now we can talk about other companies. It's fun. We can do this with you now. So like Arcade 1-Up, for example, like one of the games people want more than anything else is
What's up, Reese?
WrestleFest, right? Love WrestleFest. I love it. But
It's brutal.
That's got to be one of the biggest licensing nightmares in the entire world.
Simple as dead center in the ring. You got to edit that out first.
Yeah.
The WWF back then, right? No longer the World Wildlife Federation, but there's that. There's of course the characters themselves, and I'm sure there's other branding in there somewhere in that game that I'm not thinking of. There could be sound bites as well too. Audio is very difficult sometimes to edit in these ROMs too. It's really hard. Audio can be just such a pain. But yeah, so there could be like sound bites as well too that are in there. Like maybe somebody has taglines and stuff. I'm trying to think if there are, or if there's just any other specific music or things too. So yeah, there's those things you have to take into account too. So yeah, if you got a version of that game licensed, it's probably going to be kind of butchered.
Very different from the original.
It's going to be very different, yeah. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, honestly. You could do, but again, if it's a nostalgia buy, people want the real thing. So that's
not what he said. That's why they get all those bad retro games.
Sort of nostalgia buy, but sort of not, right? So that's kind of where we fit in. You could argue Games is kind of the same way as well too, but if you're gonna like sell sort of replica cabinet, that's a nostalgia buy 100%. So, or a big IP, right? Or like the kid wants the wrestlers on the cabinet, right? So, but again, there's other things that you can do there. But yeah, that's a hard one. That's a hard one.
Jason, WrestleFest needs to be exact ROM, WWF or no buy.
It just wouldn't be. It just wouldn't be.
It's impossible. It's impossible. Yeah. So if you want like even like it's not just Arcade 1-Up. Even if New Wave Toys or Quarter Arcades got the rights to do it, same thing. Like it's just completely unavoidable, unfortunately. Sean knows WrestleFest is impossible. Like even from the fact of another game on your cabinet, Retromania Wrestling has the Legion of Doom in it because they're not under contract with WWF anymore. So it's very likely they might not be in WrestleFest. Anything's possible.
But Retrosoft had to
license
it
impossible if you get the license
in the game too. Realize that they had to pay all those guys to use them in the game too. So that was an expensive project for them. Yeah.
Oh yeah, big time.
Not cheap.
Do you know that actually started out as a YouTuber wrestling game? RGT 85 was going to be one of the characters.
Oh man,
that's not a joke. Honestly,
I would have played that.
There was a bunch of YouTubers. It was going to be a wrestling game with like the Game Chasers, RGT 85, like all these guys from the home retro gaming space, and it morphed into Retromania Wrestling. And I always find that so amazing what the game eventually turned into.
Look at Brooklyn Minutes. We will be paying WrestleFest on our arcades.
Developers reach out offering free games. I thought that was such a. Pardon?
We actually talked about this already.
Yeah, we did. But I just wanted to say, I think that was such a cool thing for all the developers to really say, like, oh, man, I feel so bad for the community. Try to do that. I know it was impossible for you, Michael, because, like, it's just you had to do everything. So,
yeah. But, I mean, I'm here for the community right now, too. Like, it's part of my job, too, right? So, this is through and through. We're still here for the community. So, it's been great. And we're not even asking for that from those, by the way, those posts that we put out for these guys. They're the actual developers are coming to us and saying, hey, can we put this up for free? I'm like, I can do it. Absolutely. Yeah. If that's what you want to do. I'm like, sweet. So it's super, super nice for them. These guys work tirelessly on these games too. Whether you know it or not, whether you think it's a crap game or not, even too, all of these games are in their own rights. Like they take time to develop. Somebody put their blood, sweat, and tears into this. So you have to respect that, at least at the end of the day, that they're giving that away for free. Right. So.
Yes, there is a 2-player ROM for
What's up, console fanboy? Hey, I got you, man.
Yeah. $2 super chat. Pretty sure the Leaf.
Don't think we're going to be seeing him around.
I'm pretty sure a lot of the WWE
taking over chats.
But yeah, Michael Jackson's dead, but you're going to try to get moved.
Read my comment.
So someone asked this earlier, and I don't know if it was a super chat or someone asked. I'm sorry if I missed it, but like
here's the next one coming up.
Something that we were all so excited.
We were ready to just we were trying to go gung ho with gun games too, because we knew you guys wanted them too, right? And it was like if we were going to do it, it was a lot of work to do it, so we want to get more games, right? Yeah, so unfortunately, we can't release it anymore. But yes, we were working on more licenses with those two. We just can't. Again, I can't talk about stuff.
I remember, and I can talk about it because like when we were in Chicago that night before we went to iircade, I remember being in Galloping Ghost, and I can tell you, like Michael was there doing R&D at the arcade, like playing different games. So we were trying to find like hidden gem gun games that would make sense for the system. So like you guys really like, no one knows like how far ahead and how much work goes into like picking these games out, then exploring the licenses and stuff like that. So it's tough. Like we got 2, but it would have been a lot more from what I understand.
Everybody got send-ins for 2 gun games. Nuts.
All right. And here's the other thing I wanted to ask. Because
let's get to it.
Read my next one.
I wanted to talk about this communication with iircade. After Mutant Football League kind of took a different approach, and it was really rough because it was almost like John like was snake bitten with the fact that he announced something, made all these plans, and then he saw the community get so upset that it never came to fruition. I mean, like they had gone all in coming out with the cabs, and I felt at that time, John said
that's on the audio, but
until it's official.
We had so much fun. She said it was shit. It was loud.
Exciting. Like
everybody, and she said everybody was miserable.
But then after the Football League,
what world? I guess he has. Like, I mean, I can't tell him how he thinks,
possible,
but she said everyone was miserable.
About anything unless it's 100% ready and already done.
That's
so,
crazy.
like, do you feel that kind of
to that credit, I mean, I am fucking around, but I'm not saying anything wrong. I really don't believe I am. I'm just countering the misinformation
until we're at the point where we can officially announce it. So did it make it hard to
talk
about
I mean, I wouldn't even put my own shit up there.
No,
if I was
not really
doing what he was doing.
We did pull back a little bit
at
that point too, because we don't want to disappoint.
I'm not him.
The people,
but if you're on my show, I would show you.
So of course that like affected us pretty heavily. Right.
I got nothing to hide.
Beyond that, afterwards too, it was more just like,
say your piece.
How can we
come on here and say your piece?
Like, the best approach to it, and usually it's just like it's ready, drop it, let's go. Get it out there, right? And a lot of times, unfortunately, how we work, but with all of our systems, and again, we're a skeleton crew.
I think I countered that guy on Twitter, and he was a real jerk.
Small
the Stringer Films guy. He was
I agree.
He was backing Rexer with his
and it's just
excusing the racism going on and the transphobia. He's a piece of shit. I don't like that Stringer guy.
Now talking to 30 different people, and I've got emails to respond to, and then I got community stuff to deal with.
No,
too,
sir,
right?
they don't.
Like I got some of you knuckleheads causing problems or something for me too. And like every time there was drama, it was like, why is somebody messaging me now? What do we do?
Man,
like, I haven't even
so guys, with that whole messaging thing, there's one part message where a girl was getting transphobic shit, and they didn't want to do nothing about it.
But yeah, it didn't necessarily cause us to pull back, but it did cause us to reevaluate things a little bit too, for sure. And it just, after that, it was more controlled, for sure. You could say, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I would have liked to.
The only one messaging him is Brad and fucking Rainwater.
But
why would somebody message him?
Yep. Things just get thrown your way. Different opportunities.
I sent that in the chat.
So.
Yeah. Okay, so I really got to let you go, Michael. I know you're busy and you got work to do, but
I'd say as long as you
work to do what?
These guys want to see my
file for bankruptcy.
Okay, so UI. This long rumored UI update, like you said, we're going to be working on
what's that?
Biggest updates ever. Now, can you answer that? Was it the UI?
But,
was it the
I don't know. Hold on.
UI? It was both.
What is it?
So originally, at the
time, were you playing with it?
About it, that wasn't happening with the
I'll be back.
Project.
All right.
Not quite.
Nope, went off. Why was it going off?
We were still fixing bugs and stuff at that time too. The system was newer. Adding features.
Where is it? Why is it down there?
That kind of pushed it back a little bit, right? And then after it got pushed back, then we got into that other projects, and then it kind of got back a little bit too. But those projects would have had the interface that you would have gotten ported to the platform itself too. So we would have taken that design and worked it over the system. And unfortunately, you guys haven't gotten to see that yet. And I'm going to show that off now because that's part of the assets of the company that I can show off. But
so we can never see it.
You never get to see it now.
Oh man, that's
unfortunately
crazy.
Not. Yeah.
Was it cool? Just tell me if it was cool.
Yeah, I mean, we still keep things simple as possible for you guys, right? So, Netflix for gaming kind of thing, you could think, if anything, but a little bit more organized. But similar to that pretty much too, because it makes sense for our system. So
I'm so sad we'll never get to see that. That
you have
sucks.
no idea, because we worked so hard on that. We don't get to show you even to it. It kills me. But yeah, so
Super chat $2. Replace Lethal Enforcer actors with the Super Game Room dudes. I think that's a great idea.
I would absolutely play that game 100%.
All right, so I'm not going to.
You know, I don't even know if to find that cute. Why the fuck would I want any of these guys that
And
I
also,
could care
I
less
appreciate
for
everything
on my
you-
Yeah, I
video
wouldn't
game?
want to see
That's
that.
stupid as fuck.
Get in touch with, talk to.
That's some
And
worship
especially
shit,
the time we
dude.
spent together in Chicago. I really.
It doesn't
enjoyed
matter
it.
how like I'm
I-
cool with
I
you,
100%
but why
know
the fuck
that,
would I want you on any of my
you're gonna
games?
be absolutely fine. You'll find what you want to do.
That's some weird
It's not
shit,
as easy
dude.
as just finding your next job, because you got to find something you're passionate about, and hopefully it's in the home arcade space, because a lot of us want to keep you around. So, you know, this sucks. There's no other easy way to say it. This sucks, and I wish things had gone a little bit differently. But we all gotta thank you for iArcade in the first place. You, John, especially
Brooklyn
you,
accent for
did,
picks.
because,
That dude.
I think people don't know you really went above and beyond. Like, you literally had to redesign Space Invaders from the ground up to get it to work on the iArcade.
My network, but yeah.
So I just wanted to say thank you, and I think a lot of people here in the chat will agree as well. Like, thank
This
you
is
very
where
much.
Michael loses me. I'm gonna
Hopefully
be
this
straight up
doesn't
with
last
everybody.
to you.
This is where he loses me.
Yeah.
But if
Like,
it is, we know you're
You
gonna.
know people got
I'm
fucked,
gonna do everything
Michael.
I can. I'll figure out.
You
some
know
way.
people.
Like,
I'm not gonna
I'm
put
get
his
real
shit out
play
there, but he
prepared
knows
up there.
better. This
No, and I
this
mean,
is
big thank you
to me.
you
This is
and all of you guys.
disingenuous. You know what I mean? If that's the right
I
word,
mean, again, this has been
disingenuous.
a community project through and
I
through,
don't like that.
ever since the start, right?
I
That's why
can't, like I
we're
said, I
very,
can't tell him
very
how to
open
think, but
and front-facing company too, because we wanted it to be a
he
trend
knows the
release.
facts. So
We
either
tried as best as we could
he's
to
being
do that,
lied
to
to and he
push
thinks
pretty
they're
much everything
lies,
all
or
the time.
he
But
understands
if
the
I were-
truth.
But yeah,
And
so it really
there's
has,
an
like,
extreme.
thanks so much to the community.
And the extreme
as
is
always, of course,
he's
doing things.
either in the wrong or he's
I'm
in
offending right now. So,
in the
but
right.
still, well, thank you guys for all the shows and stuff too. You
I thought Brad was
Brad
leaving.
isn't here tonight, unfortunately, too. On of
That's
course,
a
one
stupid
of the
ass.
shows right now. But
He
Hey,
was just
hey,
lurking.
KFP, I
kid.
thought Brad said he was
I
taking
fully
away his
expect
membership
Dubs to
of
show up, because the way-
Michael
I
B's
hope
show.
the way our streaming
Now he's
stuff
back.
works is we do it as a
He's
group,
going.
right? So we
This
have this program.
guy's got
all
a
of us have
pension,
access to
dude.
it. So if
He
I'm
got a
live,
pension out of this
literally,
deal.
I agree.
he's
He's
jumping
got
up here
he's
and
got
He got a pension.
Yeah, I
He's
hope
got a
so.
severance pay, like probably $100
I mean,
or
just
some
some
shit.
Arby's.
That's what the fucking Form D filing said.
You
He
guys
got
know
six
this, but
figures.
Alvin never showed up.
I'm a huge Arby's fan too.
Oh
And,
yeah.
like, yeah, I don't even know why. Like, I go in cravings for it, like, but there's none out here. There's one like near O'Hare, but it's like 40 minutes from me, so I'm not driving out to get Arby's. But I
There's
might.
no
still.
Arby's in Chicago. That's crazy.
Yeah, of course there's Arby's in Chicago. Why wouldn't there be? It's Illinois.
Oh, well, I'm gonna cut this shit off.
You said there's
Yeah.
no
It's garbage.
Arby's now.
You guys have a good night.
All right,
This is
y'all.
You said there's
Dookie.
no Arby's here.
There's the closest one's 40
guys.
minutes away. Yeah,
Oh,
it's over
okay.
by
Okay, I
O'Hare. It's over by
understand
the
what you
airport.
mean.
But yeah.
Thanks for doing the show, Mike. Nothing against you. I'm just your guest. Peace out, guys.